From setbacks to breakthroughs, they've proven that resilience is at their core. Now, our 8 finalists have arrived in Mauritius, where they'll spend a week learning what it takes to think globally, win over customers, and connect with angel investors. But the real test is yet to come. They'll pitch to our panel of judges for a chance at a collective $100,000 investment. Who will rise to the challenge, and who will crack under pressure? Welcome to the final of the Do Hard Things Challenge. We've journeyed through 8 cities across Africa, uncovering visionary entrepreneurs who are fearlessly tackling real-world challenges. From setbacks to breakthroughs, they've proven that resilience is at their core. Now, our 8 finalists have arrived in Mauritius, where they'll spend a week learning what it takes to think globally, win over customers, and connect with angel investors. But the real test is yet to come. They'll pitch to our panel of judges for a chance at a collective $100,000 investment. Who will rise to the challenge, and who will crack under pressure? Welcome to the final of the Do Hard Things Challenge. Now that our finalists have arrived in Mauritius, let's dive into their backstories and hear their thoughts on making it to the final stage of the Do Hard Things Challenge.
I am Abdulrahman Fahli, co-founder and CEO of Novate. I found out about ALX when I've been looking for doing an internship for my end year of study project. And at the time, I didn't want to do the internship. I was like, I want to start my startup because I've been working on it in the last 2 years. And I started applying. The law in Morocco is really hard in that part. You have to do an internship or do something in the laboratory because it's a part of our 4th semester. And at the time, I was like, okay, what's the possibility? And they was like, you need to find a program that help you and to build the startup. So there is a lot of programs in Morocco, and I started applying to them. It's been 2 months, which was really too hard, and I started coming to this day that I may fail my year. So I have to do another year. And it was
Right. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to day 2 of the ALX Ventures Bootcamp. I'm so excited to see all of you. I thought after yesterday, you all would have skipped, you all would have disappeared, but yet again, you all are back on the 16th of December doing hard things, and we're super excited to have you all back here today. So welcome back, welcome back. Before we proceed, please let me know who is in the house. Introduce yourself in the chat. Don't just do the regular, your name. Every opportunity you have, you get to introduce yourself. Please take it. There are over 100 people, over 120 people on this call. You want to take that opportunity to freely advertise yourself, but please do not share any links. We do not want people getting distracted. Do not share any links. The only people allowed to share links on this call are myself, Ruth, Lizzo, and Nicole. So please do not share any links here, okay? So that we can all focus. So please introduce yourselves. Who are you? What are you building? What have you built? Where are you from? Represent your countries. Represent your countries, your country with your flag. People are still just saying Eric. You have over 140 eyes on the chat, and you're just sharing your name. You're just saying your name. This is an opportunity to shine. Free ad for yourself, for your brand. You never know who is in the chat. You never know who is watching and who will watch this recording. And then the person is looking on the chat and they're like, oh, I should invest in this business. Oh, I should partner with this guy. Oh, I need this product or I need this service that has just been advertised here. So I'm giving you the opportunity. Please introduce yourself. Remember, no links, please, no links. Just introduce yourself, okay? All right, so I have Catherine from Kenya. I have Bravin from Kenya. I have Joshua from Nigeria. Someone said I should shout him out. Hey, Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
I have Ahmed from Somalia. I have Esther from Kenya. Welcome, 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 everybody. Oh, Andrew says his name is Andrew Kim and he's building a project called Canvassing. Canvassing connects other projects like yours to participants who are willing to test your app and help you with insights through survey. Oh, this is incredible. Data as a service, awesome. I absolutely love it. If you're building for Africa and want to run a survey to get answers or test your app and get feedback without the hassle of looking for people, reach out to me via Telegram. Nicole, looks like some people really listened in class yesterday and just look at that stellar introduction from Andrew. Well done, Andrew. Claire, UVP, Claire Products, Claire, we understand what his business is about. And if anywhere in the world, anyone asks me, oh, which company can help me run my survey? Andrew comes to mind immediately. Well done, Andrew. Please, everybody,
Thanks so much.
take a leaf from Andrew and introduce yourself properly. Both here, both in the chat and everywhere else, you get an opportunity to, okay? All right, so welcome back, everyone. Welcome back again. So today, you are going to learn how to build your MVP. And we have an incredible facilitator for today who isn't just a teacher or an MVP teacher. She has walked the walk, she has lived it, and she's here to show you the ropes. She's here to share her experience. She's here to handhold you. She's here to mentor you. So please, I need you to be fully present. No distractions. If you have to go into the washroom for the next 3 hours, do it. Do it for your destiny, okay? My name is Nkechi and I'm from Nigeria. I am Pan-African. I am a project manager with ALX Ventures, and on the call with me today is my colleague Ruth. Hi, Ruth.
Hi,
Brief
Nkechi. Good afternoon.
introductions.
Hi,
Hi.
Nkechi.
Yes, and also on the call, I have Nicole Gray, who is an incredible anchor in the ventures ecosystem. Hi, Nicole. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Hi, guys. Some of you were terrorized by me yesterday, but thank you for having me back. Super excited to see you back here. I know yesterday was a little tougher. Liesel is much nicer than me, so don't panic. So you're in very good hands with her, and really excited to be back. Thanks, Nkechi.
Yes. So before I introduce our amazing speaker for today, some housekeeping. Please remember respectful interactions. Some of the conversations that have been happening in the WhatsApp should never happen, and some people might be facing some disciplinary actions. So please, from now henceforth, respectful interactions, respect all the people, respect their opinions, respect their backgrounds, okay? This is in line with our value of humility at ALX. We have a set of values. Who knows our values? How many are they? What's the acronym for our values? Who knows that? Put it in the chat. Let me know the OGs of ALX, okay? How many are there? Can you list them? Put that in the chat for me, okay? So be aware that your words, your actions have effect. I am so proud. Look at them. Share values, of course, of course. I knew that I had some OG ALX members here.
Someone even wrote them out. Wow, look at that. Courage, humility, adventure,
Fantastic.
initiative,
And
integrity.
it's this
and
same
resilience.
Andrew.
Yes, Andrew, let's go,
This
bruh.
Andrew
Let's
boy.
go.
We've got our eyes on you. We've got our eyes on you. Well done, Andrew. Well done. Okay, so during the sessions, please listen, please pay attention, reduce the distractions in the chat, make sure that whatever you're sharing is in line with the topic for today. Okay, be helpful, be supportive, ask questions, ask for help. And finally, please read. One thing we've noticed is that a lot of us don't read, and information has just been shared. Come in, read it before you ask any questions, because chances are the question you're about to ask has already been. That's one of the ways to show respect for other people's time, okay? Finally, this session is being recorded. So no, in line with our privacy rules or regulations, please know that you're being recorded and the recordings are going to be shared for education purposes. Welcome back, everybody. So again, this is the Founder Academy 3-day bootcamp. It starts on the 15th of, it started on the 15th of December, which was yesterday. And the final day for this program is December 19th. So by December 19th, you're expected to have submitted all your deliverables. If you missed out submitting yesterday's deliverable, do not panic, do not worry. You still have until the 19th of December to do that. Please, if you need help, reach out on WhatsApp. There are incredible founders here who are always ready and willing to jump in and help you. It's not just myself or Ruth or Nicole. Every founder here, most founders here are ready to help. And we saw that yesterday. Thank you to everyone who was jumping in to answer questions, to support. I even saw someone say, oh, send me a DM and I'll put you through. That's the spirit. That's the ALX value. That's the ALX spirit that we continue to encourage here. And I'm glad to see that some of you embody that. So yesterday was sprint 1, which was the think stage. You all thunk. Yesterday, that was bad English. You had the chance. Nicole stretched your thinking to the very limit, hopefully, and you were able to think through the problem, think through your solution, think through the different blocks of the lean canvas model. And today you see why it was important that you did that thinking. Because if you don't brainstorm, building will be a very difficult stage for you. So today is the build stage, which is the sprint 2, 16th of December. So welcome back, everybody. Like I said, please focus, find a quiet area, get a second device if you can, and lock in for the next 2 hours for the session, okay? By the end of today's session, you're expected to submit the link to your minimal viable product. And you should know that this is not the end of your product development. This is just a fraction in that journey. You should understand that. So your product development doesn't end with the link you're submitting. And the facilitator for today is going to shed more light on how to progress after you have built your URL and submitted, okay? Then tomorrow is the last day for the sprint, not the program itself, and it ends with the pitch deck. And you're also going to, say official farewell in the form of graduation tomorrow as well. But after tomorrow, you have the grace period, 2-day grace period to submit your deliverables, okay? Um, I've already spoken extensively about the program itself and what you should expect from it today. And to take you into the other details of the program, I'll hand the mic over to Ruth. Hey, Ruth.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Belinda. Thank you so much for the introduction. And thank you again, everyone who's joining us on today's session. So what I want to do at this stage is answer a lot of the questions that I am already seeing pop up in the chat. And so first and foremost, we have put everything that you're going to need during the course of this program in a single document. And that document is referred to as the Bootcamp resources. So as you can see that on the screen, or let me just very quickly also take you through the document, just so you have a sense of what to expect on there. So anytime you log onto this specific document, the very first thing you will see is the community channels. So we're having channels both on WhatsApp as well as Telegram. Some of the channels are full, but then on here I have highlighted the links for the channels that you can still join. Again, something that we mentioned yesterday is that we are welcoming you to do all the networking that you'd like to do. And so if you want to create a community for founders in a specific sector or founders in a specific country, definitely feel welcome to do that. The other important resource that you're going to find on this document are session registration links. So for example, today we are working on the build sprint. So if there's a friend of yours who still wants to join the session, you can just immediately share the registration link with them. As mentioned, we are also live streaming this particular session on YouTube. So if you missed yesterday's live stream, you can find the link here. And today's session, the link is also already available for you. So most of the questions that you're about to start sending on the chat have been answered here. So please make sure to take a look at this document and just make sure that you have that covered. Next, I want to talk about the submission process. So we are working on 3 core sprints. A lot of you were here yesterday and we worked on the Lean Canvas model. You also sort of got to submit a link to your Lean Canvas model as you continue to work on it. So that will continue today. We are going to do a very immersive session, and by the end of this session, everybody will come out with a link to their MVP that they can share with potential clients or anybody else to just showcase their idea. This means that as we get to the end of the session, alongside the feedback form, you will also have an opportunity to share a link to your MVP. So once again, we will continue to share this link in the chat, but it is also available for you on this document. The other big question I am getting is around when we get to the program completion. So you all know that tomorrow is our very last day. And so the idea is that by the time we get to tomorrow, most of you will have all your deliverables ready. And at that point, this again is the link to the official graduation form. So what you're doing here is simply writing your name, your email address, giving a bit of information around your venture, and then most certainly uploading all the deliverables that you would have worked on. The Lean Canvas from tomorrow, a link to your MVP from today, as well as your pitch deck. And then once done, you can also add any information on your co-founders, because I know that some of you are joining these sessions with your groups. So one of you can make the submission and you just need to list your other team members and they'll also receive a certificate. Okay, so this is everything from me. As the session is starting, if you have any program-specific questions, feel free to bring them up through the Q&A just so that we are not mixed. And then with that, I think I am going to pass it to Nicole to kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Oh, you could have left that slide on, but no problem. Cool. So, Liesel, so excited to introduce you guys. Liesel is a boss. Okay. She has been kind of working with us for the past few months. AI, Lovable, she is the one. So she is the CEO and founder of Simulation Theory, as well as co-founder of Love Africa. and she is like if you sit down with her and speak AI, like guys, your mind will be blown. So I'm very excited, Liesel, to have you in this space. She's worked with a number of founders in ALX programs too. So I'm so excited that she is here to support you in this MVP stage. She's going to simplify it down for you. She's going to make it so much easier for you to do. And she's going to challenge you a little bit on building something that is really worthwhile. Okay. So, guys, you don't have to deal with me today. You get her, the lovely Liesel. And I'm really excited, Liesel, that you're here. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and so excited to see what you have in store for us.
Awesome. No, thank you. Thanks to everyone for the intro. Thanks, Nkechi, Ruth, and Nicole, and obviously everyone that's joined the session. It's actually a privilege for me to be able to, deliver some information and just help you on your journey, right? It's always exciting for me to be in a room with innovators and builders such as yourself. I'm very passionate about what we're able to do on the continent with this new technology, and quite frankly, how we as a group of individuals and collectively can really drive Africa into the future, right? We have the ability now at our fingertips to solve problems that would have been a lot more difficult before the revolution in technology that we're experiencing right now. So yeah, I'll be your guide for the next few hours, but ultimately this is your workshop, right? It's in your hands. Myself and the other members of ALX Ventures are here to support. But ultimately the spotlight is in fact on you guys. So just keep in mind, we're all here as a collective to make sure that you get the most out of this. So with that in mind, I do want to say that it is a workshop. I like to look at it as an open forum. I listen to myself speak a lot. So getting your input and helping you and having you guys also guide the content, guide with questions, right? Where you're not sure, we've got a nice long time together, which we don't always have an opportunity to have. So please, whatever you need, whatever questions you have, even if you're not sure what is exactly going on, please feel free to just open up. It's a safe space. As Nkechi mentioned, it's a respectful space. And ultimately, we want you guys to have the best bang for your buck out of the next few hours together. So cool. I'm going to present now, guys.
You should be able to replace the screen.
Okay. All right. Super. Okay. That looks good.
So then it's a pure.
All right. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
We're seeing doubled up though.
Oh, that is weird. Okay. Okay, let's do that again.
Don't worry, this was me yesterday.
Do you find, I find that Zoom changes its layout a bit. So, yeah, I think it might be trying to share my entire screen.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, you can only see one now.
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, that's the right version. Okay, cool. So I've done my little intro spiel. So yeah, it's time to get into some of the meat and potatoes, I guess. This is a masterclass, right? I'm coming in here to know that you guys are already on a journey. That's really important, right? And your MVP is basically the part of the journey where you can really find out for sure if what's in your head is actually going to be working in the real world. So it's quite a powerful part of what your experience, but it's also going to be informed very much by the session that you had yesterday. If you did miss the session, I will be providing a little bit of an overview, or touching base on some of the content. I've asked Nicole when we get to that point to please also just share some of the information from yesterday so you guys can also just catch up. But ultimately, it's about thinking, right? It's about how we think through problems and how that thinking makes for really powerful businesses and really successful businesses going forward. So this is just a part of it. And tomorrow I saw your session. It will be also a nice way to wrap things up in terms of why do we have an MVP in the first place, right? It's to go out and build something that's significant. And the pitch deck will also, I hope then from today and from yesterday, kind of all culminate in your, having really clear thinking around the problem that you're trying to solve. Cool. So I've had a beautiful introduction, so I won't take too much time on this, but I'll just add a little bit. I have been working in technology from the early internet. I was there when it was kind of developing all the way to mobile phones, another revolution, and now with AI, right? So the difference here is that the ability to transform our lives is now more in our own hands than it's ever been before, right? The internet was great for sharing content, but you still had to have a few more skills in order to build stuff on the internet. With mobile devices, we still know the struggle that app development is today. That hasn't been solved, but perhaps it has now, right? So this is another revolution, but yeah, the ability to individually empower ourselves and unlock new opportunities for me is extremely exciting, and that's something that as I mentioned, I'm very passionate in supporting. This is an old picture of me from last year when I was visiting my family in Australia.
Oh, we can't see it.
What can't you see?
The picture of you.
It's me in my yellow form.
No.
The slide hasn't moved since you started.
It's the same slide. I'm just saying tongue in cheek. That's my Lego self.
Oh, it's not
Okay,
there
no,
though.
it didn't
We
show.
can't see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's okay. This is weird. Just hang on. Is there a way to just share an individual screen?
Yes, there is. So when you press share, just select the individual screen that you want.
Okay, I thought I did that, but I don't know if it's working. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, can you see me?
There,
Aha,
perfect.
now we can see it.
Okay, all right. So that's all you've missed out on is just my one little tongue-in-cheek comment about the fact that this is an old picture of me from last year when I was visiting my family in Australia. Cool. Okay, so we won't do a show of hands since this is quite a big group. So I think, yeah, if you guys can give me an idea just in the chat as well of the kind of things you're using AI for right now, and how well do you think you understand it? What you know about MVPs and also what you're hoping to get out of it. You don't have to don't have to answer all the questions, but for me, just to get an idea of where you guys are. And that'll be really helpful in terms of what I can spend more time on. And if anyone does want to put on their mic and answer, I'm also very happy for you guys to do so just while the answers are coming in. Is that a Bupe? Would you like to answer?
Yeah, thank you very much. First question for me, what am I using it for? I'm using it for basically brainstorming. My personal favorite is Notebook LM by Google. I love making podcasts and question and answer flashcards. Number two, how well do I understand it? Well, understand it to at least a proper understanding, because I started research on this in 2020. So I think I'm okay. Then what do I know about MVPs? I know that it's a minimum viable product. It's a smaller segment of the larger picture. It's basically a prototype of what you want to build. Then fourth question, what are you hoping to get out of this session? What I'm hoping to get is, I think, a better understanding on how to develop a better MVP for production or for actually showcasing to in turn get funding of some sort. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a very comprehensive answer. That gives me a great idea of where you're at, and it looks like you're quite far down the road, which is awesome. Well done on diving in so soon. Cananelo, we'll take one more response. I see there's a lot in the chat, so thank you guys. But yeah, Cananelo, you're welcome to go.
Hi guys. So basically what I wanted to say is that I really don't know much about AI, but however, I do know that MVP is minimal viable product, and you can use prototypes or the cheapest version of your product or service, just to gauge the market as to customer preferences that will help you formulate or generate the final product of or service of whatever that you want to venture in. But also, I am quite baffled as to how you can apply AI to a product business. For example, my business is a functional beverage, basically an energy drink. So I don't know how AI would come into play into helping that kind of a business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your feedback. Okay, I'm just making a note here. Yep. Well, I guess yeah. Well, it is. Let's take another minute or two. Yeah, please share. Oscar Blessing.
Right. Hello. Good morning. I hope you can hear me.
Yep, you can hear you well.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Oscar. Yeah. Am I using AI? Yes, I use AI a lot actually, because I'm currently a game developer and I'm trying to build the game development ecosystem here in Ghana with a few friends. Right. So I use AI a lot, either for concept building or maybe to generate some fun ideas for gameplay and things like that. How well do I understand it? Well, initially, I think I was genuinely afraid of it because of what its capabilities and abilities, right? But as I got to understand it along the way, I found ways and means to use it as a tool rather than it just generating things or random ideas and just posting online. So yeah, it's now like an active part of my work. Yeah, what do I know about MVPs? I know it's a minimum viable product where I think I got to create one for something else, right? Where we went to do a pitch or a pitch to an investor and we got to build something like that. So we built like a prototype game and showed what the final thing will look like. And just like you said, it wasn't perfect, but it was quite okay. So I know quite a bit, not too much though. So down to the fourth question, what am I hoping to get out of this session? I want to understand it better because at the time, I mean, although I submitted certain things, I lacked certain in-depth understanding of things. Yeah, I wasn't too familiar with certain tools and certain technicalities on table. So that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that insight as well. So I'm going to ask the yes. Sorry, I'm not sure who that is. Go ahead. Hello. Sorry, who started speaking? Was that an accident?
Hi, can I answer maybe?
Yes, you can go ahead. That'll be the final person. And you guys are going to be faster next time, the ones I can't get to now. Go ahead.
Thanks for the chance, Leslie. So for the first question, I'm using AI. I use AI strongly in code editors. I use Custom to add features, and I think recently in the last couple of weeks I've started to use Lovable whenever I have ideas that I want to put together real quickly. And in terms of understanding, I think when I started around last year when I was using ChatGPT to prompt, I wasn't so good. So I would say at the moment I can do prompts, I can write good prompts and improve them. So say if there was a scale, maybe like a 6 out of 10. Yeah. So but MVPs, I know the ideas or products, the quickest products you can get out there. And I think using AI makes that easy. And from this session, I want to see just the thought process of transforming a problem into an MVP. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, you guys are definitely on where we'd like for you to be, right? You're using the technology, you're experimenting with it. I can see a lot of different use cases, and including, the core elements of your business. So I think off the top, I can definitely share, where you don't have a digital product, because this MVP session will be about building digital products or services. Definitely think about where in your business life cycle you can deploy AI to accelerate some of the components that would have taken a little bit longer before, right? So that is one way to approach it. In fact, I would advocate for you guys, not just to analyze your MVP, but holistically, where in your business that you can create more value, because it's not about the technology, right? It's still ultimately about you and what you need to achieve at the end of the day. So cool. Thanks for that, guys. All right. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be going through. I'm going to do a little bit of an intro to AI, just to also feel like some people are, have been in the game since 2020. Some of us have just started. So just a little bit of a helping hand in terms of what it is exactly that we're talking about when we're talking about AI. And that'll be knowledge that you can use when we get to the MVP building session, right? As part of the section. A little bit about mindset, right? The way you look at a problem can often determine your success in solving it, as opposed to just having a problem. All right, so I'm going to touch on that. Obviously, MVPs, that's the core of today's session. We're going to go into a build process. It is a hands-on workshop, so we will be using Lovable. No surprise there, because I do find of all the tools that I've personally used, it's the one that gives the most quality and the most features really, really quickly. And yeah, and then the goal of these MVPs, right, is to share and get feedback. An MVP is not, it's partly for our own understanding of what it is that we're trying to solve, but ultimately it's to get something in people's hands that they can start giving you feedback on. And then you can use that information to say, do I have a viable business, not just a viable product, right? And if so, what are the things that my users are really excited to see and touch and feel? Okay, I'm just looking at the chat around the physical product. Absolutely, they can build a website. Yeah, we'll get to that as well. And there's a bunch of different things I'd like to also kind of dig deeper when we get there around where it is that you can deploy the technology for your needs. Cool. All right. So artificial intelligence. So guys, don't be surprised that artificial intelligence is here. It's been on the way since computers were invented, essentially, right? Since people have thought about how to best use computers, there was an instinct to say, well, what if the computer could talk back, and what if it could help me to perform certain tasks autonomously, right? So it's been cooking, right? It hasn't just popped out. It's been a long journey for people in the computer science and natural language fields to be able to get to a point where computers actually do something quite remarkable, and that's to mimic human behaviors. All right, and that's essentially what the artificial part of the intelligence is we want the computers to be able to do stuff that we can do. That includes, as mentioned, sight, right, as a sense, so being able to process an image or create an image. That's what we currently do with our eyes. We understand the world through pictures, right, quite a lot of the time. Sound, audio, right, sound generation, understanding, finding out what bird that is chirping in the tree outside my window, for example. We've now trained models that can do those things. Language is the big breakthrough, quite honestly. It's the large language models. When a lot of people talk about AI, they're talking about chat. I think ChatGPT as a product has now got 800 million weekly active users. It is a massive, massive success and a massive change in the way that we're going to be dealing with everything from entrepreneurship to innovation to managing our daily lives going forward. And you guys are at the forefront of that. And movement. Ultimately, the computers will get legs and arms, and they'll be mimicking us in terms of robotics, right? So being able to make food, clean our house, etc. So we've always wanted to get here. And I think it's important to understand that that the journey of getting to artificial intelligence is around about assisting us as human beings, right? Doing things that we can't do as fast, and basically being able to talk to the computer and the computer talk back at the end of the day. I also don't like the comparison between artificial intelligence being better than human intelligence. Human intelligence is entirely based on our biology, the fact that we have bodies and a skeleton and nerve endings and all of that good stuff. So it feels a bit disingenuous to me to be able to compare a computer system to a human biological system and say one is better than the other. Quite frankly, there's going to be things that a computer can't do or isn't able to do, right? And vice versa, right? We aren't able to do some of the processing tasks that a computer can do simply because we don't need to. We've survived quite well without that, right? Cool. So ultimately large language models, like all AI models, are just algorithms, right? They're really just really good at recognizing patterns and being able to predict the next token, or in our version, the next word, with a really high degree of accuracy. So it looks magical, but it's not. It's still a piece of math, some sophisticated math at the end of the day, but it's producing really interesting and important results. And I mention this because also the chat is going to be the backbone by which we build our MVPs. So understanding that can be helpful. And just zooming in on why chat has become so effective and how you can use kind of a bit of background information to facilitate your journey, right? Is one, I call it a big brain, but essentially it's got a massive training set. The model providers have scraped the entire internet. And what is on the internet, right? Everything from fiction books, music, scientific papers, car repair manuals. I've got it there. So there's Reddit. All of Reddit was scraped for input into this training data. All of the newspapers that had public domain information, even blogs, right? So some information that is verifiable, some information that's opinion-based. But all of that effectively was to create a data set of 13 trillion words or tokens in order to be able to recombine those words in meaningful ways using word relationships. So if you think of a word cloud, that's a little bit of how AI was trained, is that, mum and dad or mother and father go together quite often, but maybe mother and shark doesn't go together very often. So while you can kind of manipulate the AI to be able to make those associations for you by giving it certain types of prompts, ultimately that's what it's really good at. So when you are creating your prompts, for those of you who haven't really spent as much time refining your prompts, is being able to understand that it's looking for relationships between information. So even if you say, be a good copywriter versus being an excellent copywriter, those words actually do have a different outcome. Because in the word cloud of excellence versus good, that AI would have been trained on data that has that association, right? So maybe you're looking for the best website. Now, for many years, there was best website of the year. You'd rather go for best website because it's going to be picking up all of that information it was trained on, rather than just a website, because then it can use anything in its word cloud, right? So I hope that gives you a bit of background in where the relationships are. And then finally, not just the training data, but also the AI providers, the model providers. They have something called a system prompt, whereby they direct the AI's personality, performance, its safety aspect, its safety controls before it gets to you, right? So do not discount the fact that, yes, Elon Musk can decide how Grok responds from one day to the other. Sam Altman can also determine how ChatGPT responds from one day to the other. If you've been on ChatGPT the last few days, you would have seen that they've just released different personalities you can choose from. So there is a bit of an arms race in the AI world, and that's something that I would encourage you guys to keep testing. So I wouldn't recommend relying on a single chat model, because they all do different things slightly differently because of the people who built it, right? Oh, I see there's some questions already in the chat. Go on, guys. I love it. Yeah, please network your knowledge. It's a really powerful way to also progress. And yeah, just test them out. On a regular basis, I'll take the same prompt and I'll send it to Claude, I'll send it to ChatGPT, I'll send it to Manus, DeepSeek, Gemini, seeing how many I can remember at once. Kling, Quinn. So yeah, there's a lot out there. I use ChatGPT because I think its memory is excellent, so I don't have to keep reminding it of what to do, but it's not perfect. Let's face it, right? Version 5.2 is very different from version 5 and version 4.5. So keep looking at where you can get the best results for what you need. All right. Okay. The other thing that's really important, I just kind of touched on it now, is this thing called memory. It's not true memory in the sense that this isn't a brain, it's just word association. But what gives it this idea that it understands things over a long period of time is what's called a context window, right? Now, context is also really important because if you look at the size of the brain, I use the word brain, but the memory bank that it has, the data set that it uses, it's got 13 trillion tokens. It's got a lot of stuff, right? So context or your prompt gives it knowledge about what specific information you're looking for within this massive data set. The context window or the memory is basically saying that the newer models can absorb a lot more information at once than they used to. Now, ChatGPT, you can go in and you can check what memory it has for you or about you. So you'll remember specific things. Like right now, ChatGPT knows that I have a cat called Hermes. How? Because I asked ChatGPT about, why my cat was shedding so much. And it decided to remember that as a personal piece of information. Now I can update that, I can delete it, right? But that's where memory comes in. So it's actually passing more information to the model than just your input. And that can, like I said, can be quite useful if you're working on a single project or a business, that you can start to use folders or projects in the different chat models service that you're using. And that can be a really good accelerant as well. So you don't keep repeating yourself and the model starts to understand or how to constrain its own context based on previous conversations. So I hope that's also clear. Any questions on that? Not too much, eh? Quite simple. Wow, you guys are really chatting. I love it. Okay, I'll leave it to the other facilitators. If there's anything that important that I need to pay attention to, I'll ask you to just please ping, because otherwise I'll be reading a lot. Okay, cool. All right, then the next thing, right? So we started with LLMs, large language models, are a bunch of words. We constrain those words through context, built up over time, and ultimately, as some of you have already mentioned in your intro message to the questions, is being able to prompt well can actually be a really, really big differentiator. Now, I wouldn't necessarily go all the way to studying prompt engineering as suggested. That's a personal opinion, but definitely be mindful of how well a model responds to you when you prompt it, right? We all have our certain different ways of interpreting the world, different language uses, etc. So for me, it's still about finding what works for you. And that means doing things quite often. Have a problem that you want to solve, want to use a chat model to solve, and then see how well it operates at the end of the day, right? So I've just put down here 3 different types of prompting, because again, we're going to be using prompting later. Is to use structured prompting, which is defining a role for the AI, right? And that means you tell it what it is. Make sure that you add excellence and stuff. I'm just saying, hot tip. And use heading. So when you're building up your Lovable prompt or your MVP prompt, for example, you want it you want to give it a role or a job, whether it's a brilliant e-commerce website designer, right? Whether it's an investor that you want to evaluate, right? So you're an investor, and these are the things that I need you to look at. What is the most important problem I need to communicate to solve in my pitch deck, for example, right? So you want to give it very specific information to get very specific structured information out. That helps with clarity, but quite frankly, I use this version the most, which is conversational. And that's basically treating the interaction as a conversation. So it helps me think faster, personally. And I'm able to interact faster as well and respond faster to say, I can be quite blunt and be able to say, hey, can you please do this for me? All right, actually, that was not on the mark. This is actually what I wanted, right? So that can work equally as well. That's why I'm also suggesting that you guys find your flavor. And the last way to do it is meta prompting. And meta, not the old Facebook, but rather kind of inception, like, it's a internal feedback loop. So you can ask the AI to give you prompts for its own purposes, right? That can be quite fun and interesting. And I know that some of us in this room already use something like ChatGPT to create our Lovable prompts. So that is also a way to kind of get a meta version of, you know, asking the AI to AI for you, right? Sweet. Okay, so I've made a couple of notes here on different the different chat models. I know that was a question that came up. This is by no means extensive. And like I said, I encourage you guys to use a model that works for you. Everything has a free tier. And then once you really like it and you want to really make use of it extensively, I would recommend going up onto a tier where you know you're going to get more value than what you pay, right? So all of this to say that, yeah, we're talking about new versions of AI. We're talking about generative AI. That means an ability for an AI, a model, to generate something for you, right, with some of your input. Yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to comment on their favorite model that hasn't been mentioned yet. Who's using something a little bit new or maybe less popular? Yep, Gemini. Gemini is excellent. Yep, okay, we got Claude, some Claude fans, Copilot. Cool, cool. I know, yeah, Microsoft's doing a bang up job of deploying Copilot everywhere. Yep, Notebook LM's been mentioned. If you're not familiar with Notebook LM, guys, it's super, super powerful. By all means, go have a look at that and go play around with it. I've just heard of anti-gravity, Yusuf. It's on my list of things to try. We're getting there. So Perplexity, yeah, we've got some services. So those aren't necessarily models themselves, but they are chat services that you can make use of. Okay, there's quite a few coming in. So yeah, Mistral is the French one. That's how I know it. Yeah, Le Chat. Okay. And it's open source. So there's also a difference between, you know, some of these what now called tier 1 models. So these are big models, right? The ones that we're all used to and familiar with. I'd say a lot of bang for your buck, but for general purposes. Once you start drilling down into specific use cases, you might find that actually using a smaller model that you can actually control and tune yourself, i.e. an open source model through either Ollama or LM Studio, can actually also give you quite a lot of power without having to use tokens or services that cost money, right? If you want to really exploit it. So there are those options as well. I'm currently testing Quen out on my laptop. It runs pretty well. A small model, right? I think it's 6, 7, or 8 billion parameters. But I like it also because of privacy. So I'm zooming in. Can I zoom in though? I don't think I can zoom in this view. Sorry, Christoph. But I am happy to make the content available to you guys if you'd like it. So this is just to say that this is just an overview of the different models available, some of their strengths, and I haven't gone to weaknesses. Just probably going to update that soon, and also the cost, right? So I've just mentioned here that ChatGPT is great for general purpose, create conversation. I said creative writing, but I feel like this is a few months old now. Grok is a bit more cheeky, good with real-time info. It's got a slightly more irreverent style. Claude has been known for ages to be excellent at writing, excellent at coding, and document production. So some of these tools have more than just the model going for it, right? I know that Claude makes beautiful PDFs, for example. ChatGPT can't make a PDF if it was paid, and I'm paying money for it. It's hopeless at creating valuable PDFs, but Claude knocks it out the park. So that's what I'm also mentioning, to just test and see what works for you, right? It's going to be your own mix of experts at some point. DeepSeek, very strong on reasoning. It is a reasoning model after all. It's very logic heavy. I really like the way that it dives deep and clearly into topics, whereas ChatGPT can get a bit verbose or a bit too wordy. And then Copilot, obviously, it's niched for Microsoft enterprise users, right, on a company scale. We'll see how that continues. There are some advantages to it. But yeah, I find it limited for general purpose use myself and for creativity, but it is well integrated. And that's going to be the next step as well, is to find out like whether the tool you're using actually does more than just chat with you, right? Like Manus, I know a colleague of mine uses Manus exclusively because of the number of integrations it has to things like Google Drive and other apps. Sweet. Okay. And thank you. I'm glad that my voice is soothing. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, I've already taken a couple of questions. So if there's anything you want me to specifically address before we go to the next slide.
Question.
Yeah, question. Go for it. No question?
Can I go ahead?
Please,
So you
yes.
shouldn't see my hands up. Okay, sure. I am very engrossed in AI. I actually use AI. I'm an AI innovator. I create videos with AI. I tell people stories, brand stories, ads with AI, from script writing to the video generation, image generation, and so on. I'm planning, I train people too in digital skills and AI too, and I'm planning on getting a digital product for that to sell. I don't know if it is feasible enough. I don't know if it has um how do I call it, much value in terms of what the discussion is about and all.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand the question.
So I said I'm not sure if it really has a blend for what exactly we are discussing today on using digital skills and AI tools, and the much more features it could actually offer us that are mostly unbeknownst to us. So I don't know if what I'm doing with AI actually can be used for a digital tool to be sold, and if it has actual meaning to what we are learning today.
Ah, I see. Okay, so my suggestion is that you stick around and build and see if what you want to build, if it fits the framework that's being used. There's the best way to find out is to try, right? So perhaps
Yeah,
today is
sure.
that opportunity to see, yeah, if you build it and show to people what their feedback is as well. The advantage here of using AI for MVPs is really the speed. And we're going to get there in a moment. So I do want to just hustle along a little bit so we can get you guys building. I just wanted to quickly touch on the mindset shift. So I think for you guys, from what I've gotten from you already, is that you are already open to making use of this technology and using it for your own purpose. So I feel like also as founders, as innovators, this is a jump that you've taken. But I also want to just reiterate that it's not just tooling, it's also a perspective, right? For the first time in history, computers have been more able to help us out performing tasks than ever before. So what I also want to encourage you guys to do and to think about is, how do I use AI as a companion? That's why I also mentioned choose your own model, right? And how do I integrate it into the business that I want to build? So whether it's not just MVP, it can be workflow automation, it can be go-to-market, it can be even idea validation, right? So defining the relationship that you have, and then how you can be a collaborator now and into the future, right? As an example, I've just created some agents for myself. Those agents are I've got a motivation agent, I've got a task agent, and I've got an executive agent, right, to keep me in check so I can manage my task lists. So for me, that's a really exciting move forward where I can define for myself what my needs are, right? And now in the morning, I can ask different agents, how to kind of guide me while I'm still having my coffee and my breakfast, right? Just to do some of the work on my behalf, because ultimately it is augmentation that we're seeking. Cool. I see. Oh, there's still got more people joining. We've got a couple of hands. Or does somebody want to jump in there? The first hand up gets the time.
Derek.
Yes, please. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I was wondering, in my day-to-day activities, mostly I use AI to do presentations. Sometimes I just tell, mostly I use GPT, and whenever I give a prompt, it's mostly like, hey, I have this idea, I want to turn it into this. I ask, is there anything like that going on in my art? Oh, there is something going on, and I'll be like, okay, so try and then help me out in setting up a presentation or all these things. In doing all these things, it picks out information, one or two information, from what it already knows, and then it gives to me as my presentation. If I am to turn in that presentation, though it is originally my idea, this is my idea and it's built upon it, is that being considered as plagiarizing other people's work or other stuff, since he used these things to learn and mostly gives me feedback based on those things that are out there?
That's an excellent question. There's been going to be different schools of thought, right? Different perspectives on it. But ultimately, and this is also, I mean, I'm going to answer it in a way that I think you guys can also use going forward. There's two ways to really use this technology, this generative technology. One is to ask it to do something for you, right? Straight, right? Write this email, create this document, build a business plan, whatever that may be. The other version is to give it something to work with, right? So if you're just saying, hey, can you please generate an image based on, the paintings of Claude Monet, you're not really doing much, right? But if you start to add more detail, right? If you start to add your own content as an input, then you have a part to play in the creation of that output, right? So I've noticed also the first version where people just ask things, it does the job, but it doesn't necessarily do the job that you want it to, right? So it's a whole thing about context, right? If you give it a context, if you give it your personal context, then you're much more of a co-creator than just using the tools, because you're right. I mean, in the sense that, yeah, you can use the tools just to do stuff for you without your involvement. But it might not get the results that you want. And for me, there's a clear difference between people that use option one, which is no input, and option two, a lot of input, in terms of the quality that you get out at the end of the day. So I'd always recommend that you take option two. It's going to get you to where you want to go much faster, and it's going to have your personal flavor as well, which I think we need to keep, right? We can't all be AI generated stuff people, we still want your unique talents and skills and ideas to be involved in the process. Then you're a co-creator. Cool. All right. So why is it important to sorry guys, I know that we're already an hour in and we need to get building. So I'm gonna keep the questions for when we are in that phase. So why, and to your point there that you've just made, Derek, is that why? Because we still need human connection. AI doesn't know if what it's produced is good or not. You do. So you are still the decision maker. You're still the quality controller, right? Whether it's good enough, good enough or great enough for the thing that you want it to actually be used for. So you still are the central force here. And obviously in terms of relationships. Now, in your business, you're going to build relationships with all sorts of people, team members, co-founders, customers, etc. AI can't do that for you. So we still have a massive part to play in managing the tools and the technologies instead of it replacing us. Okay, so we've done a couple of check-ins there already. Okay, so minimum viable products. Has anyone read the Lean Startup, which was the kind of the book that pioneered this concept? Yes, we've got some. If you have, I congratulate you. It took me, I think, 3 years to read that book. It was hard because it's very detailed, but it isn't. If you are interested in the background on where the ideas of MVPs came from, and also the idea of lean startups came from, it's basically designing you guys and us as a whole for success, right? If anyone has been involved in IT projects, I know I have, they tend to take a long time to develop, and then once they're deployed, they might not even work at the end of the day, right? Hundreds, probably at this point, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars have been spent year on year in order to get to something that people don't want. It's crazy, right? So that's what we're trying to avoid, and that's what this particular book designed many years ago. I think it was started in the mid to late 1990s. In conceptually. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a digital product. It can also be the smallest version of your business or your service that you can deploy in order to say, hey, are people going to love this or not, right? So when we generate MVPs using AI, we're still going to follow the same principles of design for success. That is ultimately what we're trying to test here. I'll take in Nopa and Ruth.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, mine is just a short, quick request. Unfortunately, due to constraints, I might have to jump off a bit early from the call. But I just had a question, and I think it might be actually more inclined with the session you were about to get into. Given that, like, you've got a business which is, say, product-based, I think there was a participant who asked about that, or service-based. Maybe you're in the food industry, it's a restaurant or research or whatever it is. How then do you, like, for the purposes of this boot camp, create a minimum viable product using the tools that, we're going to be using today? I don't know if the context of where I'm coming from makes sense to say, like, given that line of business and the tools that we're going to be dealing with, what then would be a minimum viable product for that type of business? And I think there was another question that I had again, but it's slipping out of my head, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But it was on my fingertips, and yeah, it just slipped off. But yeah.
You're welcome to come back to it and drop it in the chat. But I can answer your question. In fact, since the question was asked right at the beginning, I've been thinking about it. And in reality, most businesses run on some type of digital rail already. So the end product might be, for example, you want to open a restaurant. But if you think of all your stock management, purchases, customer communication, marketing, all of that good stuff, right? So that's why I said, think of your business as kind of take a 360 view of it. Your end product is not generally the only thing that exists, right? Even things like, managing your finances and things like that. I've personally used Lovable to build an entire stock inventory system for my partner to run their business because I was tired of spreadsheets. So, you can even do back-end, customize back-end stuff if you have time and you're frustrated enough with the tools that you have. But yeah, and I'll get into that a little bit more. So I hope you're able to stay for some of the other content that I want to share with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Ruth, yeah?
And then just one last thing. Okay, so ALX, I think, has got a course called ACE. I actually did it last year. And as you go through this world of AI, you come across even other courses as well. And some of them might be legit, some of them might not be legit. That's the unfortunate thing with the information age. Everything is out there, the good and the bad. But I think in terms of like getting to grips with maybe some of the most useful AI tools that are out there. I know ACE did a great job, especially in the introductory phase, but in terms of maybe getting a wider list, I don't know if there are any recommendations that you might have, since given like what you've already said, each tool, if we're looking, for example, just at LLMs, each one has got its own strengths. And if you're going to go even into things like writing tools and image generation, so on and so forth, there's a lot of stuff out there. So yeah, I don't know if maybe in terms of for a person then wants to get to know more about the different tools that are there, what they do, how to use them, much more than just using them as an advanced version of Google, but to integrate it in terms of it being part of the ecosystem. I don't know if you've got any recommendations in terms of where we can get that information.
I see there are some people already in the chat that are happy to help you out. And what I can do on my side, in Opera, is also just potentially provide a cheat sheet. Knowledge that I have, just to move through some of the supportive tools, right? that are available to you, because it's a lot. It can be difficult to make a decision. But yeah, the team can just potentially remind me later on that I'll just put something together that I can share.
Wonderful.
Okay, super.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And hopefully the slides will be shared as well, right?
Oh, happy to do so. I mean, they're just here to help you think, right?
Okay. Thank
Not
you.
so much about deep dives. The deep dive really is the build process. But in order to
All
get
right.
to the build process meaningfully, and if you don't mind, guys, if you just drop your comments in the chat, I do want to get to the point, like I said, where we get building. So I'm happy, unless there's something super important.
All right. Thank you.
Pleasure. Super, because why MVP is the tool, but what is really the product, right? And what an MVP can help you do, and you know, the 3 days that you have in front of you is to be able to answer partly why are you building your business, right? Who are you building it for? Yes, for yourself, of course, but what's your target audience, right? That's going to determine how you build and what you build, right? As it says in the name, it's a minimum viable product. That means your job partly is when you're building your MVP to understand what is the core problem that you're trying to solve. Because in your MVP, you're not going to be solving 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 problems. That means you're not going to be solving for 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 features. It can be quite difficult if you've been spending a lot of time thinking about your business, thinking about your product, to say, hang on, what is the thing that I really need to test? Hello? Sorry, I thought I heard someone.
It's okay, go ahead. It's just some people that aren't on mute.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thanks for managing that. So yeah, so as I'm going through the next part, in the next few slides, I want you to have that in the back of your mind. Oh, it's 2 me's. That's better than 1, right? Just kidding. Is to be able to really focus and say, okay, cool. Now that I've got all these magical things at my fingertips, how am I going to best use my time, right? How am I going to best use the tokens that I have on the free tier? And that'll help you refine your idea. If there's one thing that I keep reading about, what's the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful startup, is one of them is to first of all, not testing with an actual user, right? Spending too much time on building. The second is trying to do too much, right? So when you're starting to get feedback from your users, you don't want to have a situation where you've built 4 features and now they're lost and confused. Or they're giving you feedback on something that you think in your mind is actually not as important as this thing, right? So that's really important. Why are you doing it? Who for? And in order to support that, and this is some content from yesterday, is being able to translate your lean canvas model into an MVP, right? So you're not going to take all of this into the MVP, but it's going to inform some of the decisions that you make, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
How's it? So yeah, so for those people who were not involved yesterday, I want you to, if you can please just take a little snapshot of what's on the screen. And even while we're going through the rest of the session, just see if you can answer those questions for yourself, because that is your planning phase, right? Understanding your business deeply enough to be able to explain it simply to yourself, right? It's very different having all the thoughts in your mind, right? All those buzzing butterflies and all that excitement. But there's 2 things that are really important. You're needing to explain your business to somebody else, for one, right? And you're also needing to, at some point, be able to explain to a customer, and that might be a landing page. It might be really high quality copy in your marketing material that communicates the core thing that you're working on, right? The core problem.
Liesel, sorry, just a second. Ruth, so Ruth, did you want to mention to the team?
Oh no, just as Liesel gets to this section, I remind everyone to start getting out their lean canvas models. Yeah, because we are relatively about to start. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Cool. So yeah, for those of you who've started, great, you can finish it now. For those of you who haven't started it, even if you put one item in each of those boxes, right? It doesn't have to be too detailed. In fact, I recommend not going too detailed straight up front, okay? Because you want to think through it. You have now questions to ask yourself that you may not have really thought through yet. And like I said, this is all kind of linking together in order for us to be able to say at the end of this journey that we've got something that's really exciting or really valuable, right, to an audience out there. Because ultimately, you're also not just wanting to satisfy a user need, right, or solve a problem. You want to try to find
Good.
something. Okay.
Just keep going, Liesel.
No, it's just sound. I'm just built to like listen to it, right? Okay, all good, guys. So yeah, this is the basis for the next section, right? Cool. So we have great ideas, right? We think people are going to love them. And you think you've got a problem, you've identified a problem that's really important to solve, and you think it's big enough to become a sustainable business for yourself, right? That's kind of some of the foundational thoughts that we have when we start this journey. But ultimately, it's not our thoughts and our feelings. Unfortunately, sorry guys, if you haven't realized it yet, you're going to go through a journey of quite a lot of humility going forward, right? Once we actually start getting our feedback. They do say don't be too close to your MVP, or don't be too close to your business idea, right? Because be close to your customers. And so this journey really is to say, am I making something people want? I think I am. I've done market research. I've asked my friends. I've asked colleagues. Or I've seen that there's already something in the market that looks like what I'm doing. But that's the first key. And I'm taking this straight from Y Combinator, by the way, if anyone's interested. They've got a very successful model. And I think they're quite good to listen to because they're quite direct. They're quite straight to the point with their advice. So not only making something people want that adds value to their lives, but also something that they're willing to pay for, right? So one of the advantages of tools like Lovable is you can add a payment gateway straight away. If you need to test payments upfront, you can do that, right? If there's a subscription model that you need to test, you can do that upfront. But obviously, at the end of the day, you're still testing whether the thing that you're wanting to do adds value to somebody's life. Make something easier, either saves them time or saves them money. That's another little, cute little short rubric that you can use. So where we are in this journey here is, okay, we're finding out if there's a need in the market. Cool, market validation. Find out if people will enthusiastically use what you've built. Your early adopters are gold in this sense, right? So when you're doing your LCMs, your it's the other way around, right? Lean model canvas. Yes. When you're doing the lean canvas, you're also going to be looking at customer segments. So another hot tip is you don't need to solve a problem for the entire market straight away. In fact, this is something that Paul Graham, the co-founder of Y Combinator, says all the time, is that you're better off looking for a niche audience within that market, and own that niche, and then you can build it out further, right? Why? Because your audience that really, really needs what you want right now, that is already looking for you, they're going to be your most enthusiastic supporters, and they're going to give you the best feedback, right? Then you also want to find out if they're going to pay you, right? Your business validation, I've mentioned that. And then the last thing, and this is where your landing pages come in, Ruth, is make sure people can find you. So that's your go-to-market or your distribution. So many great products have failed, not because they weren't great products, but because they couldn't market themselves well enough to get into the hands of the people that needed them. So also keep that in mind. It's not the MVP stage necessarily, but that's kind of something you need to consider as well as you move forward, right? And yes, Lovable and no-code or prompt-based app development and web page development can significantly help you with that as well. Okay, so we're almost there. Be clear about the problem you're trying to solve, right? Keep it simple and try to solve one thing at a time. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to start getting out our chat models, as well as signing up for or logging into our Lovable account. So what I'd like you guys to do, right, is I want you to either have a document ready that you've already put together about your business, thing that you want to build, or open up a chat prompt and you use that chat prompt in order to create a Lovable prompt, right? So I'm going to show you guys how I do that now. Okay. Okay. Can you see my ChatGPT interface?
Yes.
Okay, great. Phew. Ah, what a relief. Okay, cool. So I just started working on this earlier, just to get started. So I'm basically doing the role-based thing here. So I'm going to use ChatGPT now to create a Lovable prompt for myself. I'm going to start to say, and you guys can start doing this as well on your side, right? AI is also not just great for the creating the prompts, the prompt for generating your website or your app, but also for testing your idea. So make use of it. In fact, I've started testing a browser called Strawberry, and I'm really enjoying the agents that it has for competitor analysis. So that's another tool that's quite new that I'm getting good results from. Cool. So I've given it a prompt. This is to test my idea, right? As well. So you're a master investor who has invested in many world-changing startups. I want you to evaluate my idea. I want you to be ruthless. And I want you to be ruthless, right? I want to help you. Okay. And then give me the top 5 questions I need to answer to make sure I understand the idea fully, that there is a market, and what niche I'm going for. So this is also just to show you what else you can use AI for in terms of your idea validation, right? Then, once you have a back and forth conversation there, I can also then start to say, help me create a perfect prompt for Lovable that allows me to create an MVP that I can test with real users. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. Make sure the core feature is highlighted. So you can just play around, right? This is the AI really lends itself so well to experimentation. And this is something that us as founders and entrepreneurs haven't really had close contact with, right? We needed software engineers for our builds. We needed to go out and talk to people in real life to find out if there's a market. But we can now start to use AI as an assistant that can bounce ideas off you and also help refine some of your thinking. I would not recommend you use it as an expert, but an assistant, right? Over time, you will know when to trust the responses more than others. But I certainly, like I said, wouldn't, out the box say, this must be right. It's just a means of refining your own ideas, like I said. The real test is going to be in the generating of your MVPs and testing the market and actual users. Cool. So this is just an example. So, you can do this for your own business. And it's also given me the Lovable prompt here, right? It's called a savings autopilot. That's the suggestion. We all need savings, quite frankly. We all need more savings. So I'm not unhappy with the problem that it's identified. At the same time, because I asked about financial management, it means it's something I'm passionate about, right? So it's important. Your customers will know whether you actually love what you're building or not. And that's going to get you through the times when you're questioning your sanity, questioning a little bit of reality, if your assumptions are correct. And so, yeah, make sure it's something that you're passionate about, right? I wouldn't say to AI, give me a business, to work on that's going to make lots of money, right? That doesn't come from the heart, and your customers know when it's coming from the heart or your mind. Okay. Cool. So that's just, yeah, so you can literally copy paste, the Lovable prompt directly from ChatGPT. I'm not going to do any quality checks. I would hope that you guys do. Actually read through it and refine it, right? I mean, there have been times when I've received a prompt and I've said, you know what, actually, I don't need to, you actually overcomplicating matters, right? Okay, you want me to paste the prompt that I used? Okay.
At least we are wondering whether you could share the prompt in the chat.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can do that. Yeah, so this is just my version. I'm saying that a lot, but because your success is not just linguistic, your success is what model you've used. So all of that comes into play. And then finally, guys, once you've got what you want to build, key features. Now, I've mentioned max 5 things. Now, those 5 things include login screens. It includes payment gateways, right? But your core feature is still the thing that you want to solve for your users, the thing that your potential customers in the future will not be able to live without. That's also a really nice and interesting threshold to work with when you want to say, all right, maybe this is something that a lot of people want or have, but my idea is slightly different, and that'll give me the edge in the market. Cool. So if you guys all have got your chat GPTs and your Lovables ready, I'm going to leave this slide up here so you guys can start working on your prompt. And I would then suggest you use the prompt format of I want to build a something that does something. It should have these minimum features. And very importantly, right, I've noticed a lot of AI websites look the same. Be a little bit more, how can I say, influential when it comes to the design. So think of a design that you like in websites or even in mobile apps, maybe a style, maybe you like Apple's liquid glass design. Give it that design, or it's going to give you something that looks very, very generic. Okay, and people will very quickly tell that you've used AI, but you haven't maybe thought through the design, and we eat with our eyes. So for me, I always add a design element. Okay, so for you guys that haven't seen Lovable yet, okay, I'm going to quickly go through the interface now while you guys are getting your stuff ready on the other side. So it's a very simple interface. You literally just stick what you want, stick your prompt in here, okay? What you can do is you can add screenshots. You can, I'm not going to make, okay, you can also attach images. So what I've done in the past, right, is I've actually given it I took a screenshot of a website design that I really liked. And I said, please mirror this this design, and it did it perfectly. You can give it a URL as well. If you really like a certain website and you want to replicate that design, you can put it directly into your Lovable prompt and it will replicate that design as well. What's also good to do is to attach any documentation that you already have about your idea. I wouldn't necessarily put in an LCM for it, right? Your lean model canvas. It's more about your business plan than it is about your web app. So to see what you can input for a website I developed for AI Expo for the company I work for, I actually just used a PDF that was a basic breakdown of the product that I'm selling, and it was able to use all that data to create the website, and I did very, very little in order to make it functional and actually roll it out. So, so if there are people that haven't yet signed up, I just want to give you guys a link. Actually, now that I've just pinged myself on that, so there is an opportunity to potentially get some assistance and support from the team at Lovable. if you are wanting to continue your journey, you just need to sign up using a referrer code. So if you just give me a moment, guys, I just need to search for that real quick. Okay. So I'm going to drop that referral link in the chat. Cool. So what we're doing, Agatha, is we're going to build an MVP based on the planning that you've done around the problem that you want to solve, and based on some of the prompt work that you've just been working on. Okay. So I'm going to say I've already got a prompt, but I'm just going to kind of freestyle this one. Okay. I've given you, that's what you can attach. You see there's a chat element as well. So before you start, you can actually use Lovable to talk about what you want to do before it actually generates. There is also voice mode for those of us who don't like to type anymore. And that's really the main part of your Lovable interface. There's some other settings and things that I've made that you can go through in your time. It's not really difficult. The learning section is good if you want documentation. There is a discover section if you do want to submit your own apps to basically their marketplace, but it's quite new. I don't think it's being used a lot right now. So we're up to the part where we can put a prompt in. I would like an app that is AI driven. So like I mentioned, you can be very direct, very clear. Speak to someone as if they don't actually know what it is you want, and you need to be very, very specific. Okay, that's AI driven. That helps users save money. So yours could be very, very specific, right? Make the design super slick, modern, but also a bit of fun. Okay, so it can be as simple as that. Like I said, yours should be a little bit more detailed, but I'm just thinking of something off the top of my head. And let's see what it pulls out. I'm also on a paid plan. I'm on the lowest paid plan, which is $20 per month. And you've got to, if you feel like you're going to be using the tool a lot, I highly recommend it. On that plan, I haven't been able to run out of credits. So, and I've got about 5 or 6 different projects running at the moment that I'm working on, just to play around as well, right? It's not all for making money. Some of them are, but not all of them. Okay, super. So you'll notice in the middle section here, it's giving you some tips. The one that's important, I think, is it's giving you all the new features. Where is it? Lovable Cloud.
Liesl, sorry, just a question in the chat saying, are we not pasting the Lovable prompt from ChatGPT?
You're most welcome. So yes, you can.
And no, you are not prompting using Liesl's specific prompt. Use your own ideas.
Yeah, so it's going to be based on what you're building, right? So I mean, I can definitely go back. Let's use the ChatGPT prompt. I honestly got intimidated when I saw all this content. I'm not going to lie. Hey, so let's see. Lovable prompt. Build it. Okay. Now. Okay, so we'll do it this way. It's going to take a little bit longer, right? Oh, they've given us themes. Okay, don't do that. We're going to come up with our own design. Okay, so all good. I'm taking your advice now. You'll see there it's given it a name, right? Already. There's some settings here. The settings, the important ones are your knowledge. So you can actually add instructions here that the tool always uses, kind of like memory or almost like a knowledge base. So that's available to you. And the rest we'll get to in a moment. That's not important right now. Okay. But while I am speaking, I'm doing it because it's actually using, I'm pretty sure it's using ChatGPT 5.2 right now, because it's using a reasoning model, and it's talking you through what it's doing as well, right? It's saying it's building the savings pilot, which is a calming premium fintech app for South African professionals. And this is stuff that it's got directly from that ChatGPT prompt. It's talking about its design inspiration. The first version will have the following features. And when it's saying editing, it's actually giving you the code files that it's updating. So you can see it's using TypeScript here, and it's creating an index file. For the techies in the room, you have direct access to the code, right? The entire project. So you can actually, if you have the skills, you can edit directly in code if you want to, or you can continue to use the chat mode over here. We're enabling Lovable Cloud. Why that's cool is that you used to have to tool up your own database. You don't have to do that anymore. You used to have to add your own API keys. You don't have to do that anymore. So it gives you a full backend with some logic, as well as it can be AI powered from day one, and you don't have to pay for Lovable Cloud. Okay, so code analytics. There's an analytics feature as well. So if you are sharing the website with lots of people, you can actually see how many people have visited, and you can then ping them on what you want to know from them if you've collected their information. Please always be wary of security, right? Because this tool is AI powered, security is also up to you in some instances. I wouldn't necessarily at this point go all the way through to production unless you have someone that's audited your code for that reason. This is literally just an MVP that you can show people, get their feedback, and start working on whether you're on the right path or whether you need to pivot. Because like I said, ultimately, we are building for others as well as ourselves, right? Cool. So you see it's still building out the different files. I'll go down here for a moment, and you'll see in the chat box, right? I can also add GitHub. I can look at the history, so I can always revert my project. If I feel like I've gone a few steps in the wrong direction, you can go back. The knowledge I just mentioned already is giving it a kind of a super prompt that it always thinks about. So you might want to say, you know, when you are building out different features for me, always make it very simple to use. As an example. Okay, you can I mean, I add screenshots all the time, right? I even screenshot sometimes the app and say, this is what I don't want, because the AI doesn't have eyes. You still have to be its eyes. And you can still attach files, right? So even if you don't like the design, at some point you can just say, you know what, redo the design for me. Think of it as an associate, a friend, a team member, an employee, however you'd like to think about it, but you can be very direct in that way, right? I like this, I don't like that. Okay, you know what? Can you change this for me? Or you can go into chat mode and just say, hey guys, do you think we're on the right track here? I'm not sure. Or you can so you can go into chat mode just to talk, right? Rather than generate. The other thing that's quite cool is the visual edits. So you can actually go and use a WYSIWYG type of interface like you would on wix.com, where you can click into the page itself and make edits directly there. Cool. So this is going to take a while. How are you guys doing with your generation? Are you guys there yet? Are you still making the prompts?
I see some people are lost in the chat, but if you could please clarify where exactly you're stuck so that we get this done. But I'm wondering whether it might be helpful to just I think once again go through the AI bit, and then we'll reshare the link to Lovable so that they proceed.
Okay, all right. So just to understand, okay, so we've moved from creating a prompt to create your MVP, right? Okay, so going into here, right? So you can use any chat model that you like. So yes, you can, so this is, so you would go into a chat prompt like this and kind of say, I want, so there's a lot of people coming in, eh? It's amazing. I want to create create a prompt for Lovable, right? Then you'd say, then you would want to say the app I want to build is for a, and this is your target customer. Okay. Is for a for someone, let's use my example, it's the savings one, for someone who struggles to save money. It must be easy to use. I want to test whether people will use it and buy it. Is that making sense? For the people who weren't sure where we were? Okay, Josephine. Yananaye, Ruth, Judith. Okay, good. Okay, so again, I'm trying not to go too deep down the rabbit hole here because I don't actually have an app that I'm building, but you guys do. Okay, so like I said, you can use even the problem statement from your lean model canvas, right? And for me, the first prompt that I used, which was the comprehensive one, is the one that I would then paste into Lovable, right? So it is about a bit of planning, like I said, and being quite clear in what you want to solve. Okay, anyone else still struggling, or is that a bit more helpful? A bit better? Okay, all right. So once you've got your prompt, okay, based on your specific idea and business, you're going to then copy paste. And you see it's also saying crystal clear. You're going to copy paste your prompt into the Lovable interface over here. Okay. All right. I see a question about mobile apps. So Lovable currently doesn't support mobile apps, but you can deploy it as a PWA, right? So something that can be saved to your mobile phone as an app. Or it's called a progressive web app. Or if you have some technical skills, you can use a wrapper, right? I think Ionic is still in use and things like that. So there are some new tools that can do mobile apps, but I haven't seen one that I would recommend yet. It's still not that good. Okay. In terms of the credits, Lindsay, that is the free tier, unfortunately. So this is just to give you an idea of what the tool can do, right? Your first version, I hope, is a good one that you enjoyed building. But if you want to continue to build, you can definitely speak to the team, and I can see if I can get some credits for you guys. Otherwise, you would need to wait for tomorrow. And I know when I started using the tool, I just built on a daily basis so that I would run out of credits, wait till the next day, and continue building. And I managed to get quite far with my MVP doing it that way. It just takes a little bit more patience. But as you've seen, after about 3 months of using the tool, I just started buying it paying for it because I was using it a lot. So you'll do your cost benefit exercise, right? But for $20 a month, I know personally, it's a lot cheaper than a software engineer. And the time as well. You know, once you start getting used to the tool, maybe you got stay on the free tier for a little while and you just try different projects until you really get used to how to prompt it very efficiently. And you can start to, and then you can start to really refine the way that it creates outputs for you. Again, it's a new thing, right? So we need to, there is a bit of a learning curve, but what is really exciting is the fact that you guys can see something that you've built within a few minutes, right? So I'm going to go to, there we go. So this is the project that it was building. Okay, so next, after pasting the prompt in Lovable, you'd hit enter and it will go into the screen over here. Hey, I would never belittle a software engineer, but I am being very honest in that I would not be able to code this in the same, in any amount of time at this point, right? So no diss to anyone that has developed amazing skills. And yeah, there is definitely a conversation around that within the tech community that I'm involved in. But ultimately, the best engineers that I know have started using AI the most, because what they're telling me is instead of taking 6 months to build something, that it's taking them 2 weeks. So Olakundle, you need to read through the response from ChatGPT and see if it makes sense to you, right? Is that what you wanted? And also, is it small enough? Because when we say minimum viable product, we mean minimum, i.e., what is the least amount of features that can be in there for you to ship it and test it, right? So that would be my recommendation, is make sure that it's on the mark. Remember, you're the quality assurance expert here in this, you know, in this world of AI, right? Okay. Okay, so Agatha, can you give me some more information about what's confusing? Okay, while I'm waiting for Agatha's response, okay, Doreen, to answer your question, so you'll see on my screen here, it's produced the first version. Now, quite frankly, I should have given it a lot more of a design prompt, but in order to view it, you can go to preview. Okay, so you'll see here this arrow will open up a preview version of your app, right? And that's now usable. Okay. The other option you have is if you go to the top right-hand side, you can also publish it. And you see that you can either create a subdomain, right? So I can say I want to call it savings tool or something like that. Right? And save it. Or if I don't add anything here, Lovable will just generate a domain for me. So if I say save and then publish, it'll be published to this domain here. And I can then open it up and I can immediately share that link with users. Oh, wait, sorry, I didn't. It's still publishing. Okay. Okay, does that answer the question?
Yeah, but I think it might be helpful if you again, yeah, because I know some people will be stuck there.
What do you mean?
If you could reshare your screen and just again point them to how to publish, because I think some people will be stuck there again.
Okay, sure. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
The Lovable. Okay, and Lindsay, we're just going to be chatting through what the journey. So you will help. I don't think you'll miss too much. It'll just be questions from now on. Okay. All right. So. Okay, so to do the publishing, right? So we've got, once it's finished generating the app, right? And I recommend that you go through and read also what it has created, just so you're familiar with where we are. Then to publish, you'll go into the top right-hand side, okay? And you'll have the option to create a domain, and then you'll have an option to publish here, right? And you'll continue to do that. So you can go into, if you guys are familiar with Wix, or I'm not so familiar with WordPress, to be honest, but some of the other, maybe Shopify, right? You know that you can create in preview and create and preview your website. And only once you're ready to share it with the world, could you publish it. So it's kind of a live update, but publish just makes it live on this link. You can still share the preview link. It just looks a little bit nicer when you're sharing the published link.
And just for all of you guys who are submitting, you'll need to publish and share that link with us in the form that's coming later.
Yeah, so that will be this link here. That's what you'll be sharing. Okay, all right. So Agatha, so you've got your prompt from ChatGPT. It should say on ChatGPT where the prompt starts. You're going to copy that. And yes, and you're going to be running the same prompt on Lovable on that initial dashboard interface over here. You can just hit here and then hit publish. Sorry, and hit enter. Josephine, I'm not sure what conversations you've been having before, but I'm glad that ChatGPT is on your side, hey? Do you want to share with me a screenshot of where you are, Josephine? Okay, so the app is going to be created in this view over here, right? And what you're seeing is on the right-hand side is the entire app interface. So if I start interacting with it, I see it's got a little bit of an account thingy going on. And it's already giving me some prompts that I can engage with. So as I'm going through the different features, I can also say, please update this, change this, add this, etc. Right? So you are now basically co-creating with Lovable for your MVP. Peter, I think that the ask is not to go from GitHub, but to actually go from the published website and share that URL. Someone asked about publishing on an external domain. Yes, that's very, very easy. If you go into the publish button here and you say add custom domain, it'll connect you to your domain provider, whether that's GoDaddy or AWS or whichever. And it'll go through an authentication process, and it actually is very easy. I can add a domain in under 1 minute or under 2 minutes if I need to. You can also restrict access, by the way. So just so you know, I can also see that there's 4 visitors here. That's nice. Okay. It's also got the option here, if you go to website info, it'll also give you the metadata for when you publish. You'll see that it has uses the Lovable favicon. So all you would do to update that is to attach your favicon here, right, with the attach function and upload it. You can even ask it to create a favicon for you, but it might not be what you want. Okay. All righty, let's see. Okay, so I see Josephine, why you might be a little bit confused. So you are at the stage where you've asked you're using ChatGPT to evaluate your idea. The next step is to ask it to give you a prompt to create your MVP. I'm not sure if you've done that yet.
Liesel, I don't know if you saw, Sunday has put in a screenshot that he can't find the publish button.
Okay, let's see. Okay, just a seckie. Has the app finished generating? That would be my first question.
He says he thinks it has. So if you have a look at the screenshot, it looks like it has, but
Okay.
right at the top it says remix.
Did you okay, did you start from your own prompt, or did you pull in an existing template or an existing app from Lovable? Just going back to your screenshot so I can see your response. Sunday, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT about that. Just wait a minute. Okay, sorry, Grace, I'm not sure why it's not responding. I hope your internet is good over there. Okay, I'm seeing more links coming through from what people have created. Hope, that's what I was hoping for. Is to see it come alive in front of your eyes, right? This is literally just to get you started, you know? Inevitably there will be some refinement needed, but the fact that you've thought about it, that you've, really kind of refined the idea as much as you can, and then attempted your first version of your MVP, I think it's great. Okay. So
So I'm seeing a few other questions come in. I know that some of you came in late or quickly missed a part of the session, but no worries. It is all being live streamed. And the link is available for all of you. So no pressure. It is not a difficult process. It is essentially 3-step, and once you get to the recording, you'll be able to do it. The other question I'm seeing is around submission. So we know there's the credit issue, but you do not have to submit today. The final submission deadline is Friday, so you have until Friday to work on this specific deliverable. Today on the feedback form, you could just say you're working on it. Absolutely no pressure. But if you're feeling lost or stuck, that's okay, especially for those of you who are trying to multitask or you're having network issues. The recording is available. Once you get it, you'll be able to do it. I have also added the links to the prompt that we used, as well linked to Lovable on the bootcamp resources. No pressure. Please stop feeling overwhelmed in the chat.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm seeing a lot of really good links shared. So I think congratulations everyone who's gotten a chance to get a head start there. Back
Yeah.
to you.
Okay, all good. No, I think yeah, it is a process. It's not going to be a, we're here to give you a guideline or guidance, as I mentioned, on what tools are available to you, and that you can also experience some of the magic of using AI tools for this MVP process. As I mentioned, traditionally you wouldn't actually build an MVP until you've done your market validation because it was super expensive. But in 2025, it's not actually, it's nowhere near the same cost. So you really have an opportunity to create something from scratch that you own, that you love, and that you can share, right? I see there are some hands. If anyone wants to go ahead, you're welcome. I see who we got here. Oh, Doreen, would you like to go ahead?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I am lost. I've tried to follow what you've said, but it's just responding to my prompt, but it's not making anything.
Okay, do you mind just sharing a screenshot of what you're seeing on your screen? And then I will be able to see what's going on there. For the person that was struggling with the remix, is this your project? Is the question that ChatGPT has for you. Are you the owner of the project?
I think as we wait to hear from that specific participant. Also, we are hosting office hours on Thursday and Friday. So if you still have technical issues after watching today's session, on Thursday and Friday we'll have the opportunity where you can screen share or ask any specific questions related to what you're building. Yeah, so just to clarify that as well. Because I know we want to be able to get into all questions in today's session. So on Thursday and Friday, we will be doing office hours. Come in if you're stuck anywhere, you can always screen share and then we'll be able to give you support. Back to you.
100%. Yes, it is this is a starting point, right? And I am excited to see, like I said, that some people have kind of experienced the magic, because that's really what I want to kind of provide for you. There are other tools around, so by all means, search for what you like. I did try Bolt.new, I did try Vercel's V0, and I wasn't as impressed as this particular tool here. So that's why I use it myself. And I share it because I feel like it's the highest quality that I've seen so far. I'm keen to try Google's anti-gravity product as well. So by all means, find something that works for you. We think differently, we understand things differently. So I wouldn't say this is the only option that you have, but it is something that I think, like I said, just feel the magic, feel the power that's now in your hands. I can now go into the little app that was spun up for me, and I can say, update the design to be more slick and modern. Okay, just looking at the chat again here.
There's a good question on how do we optimize Lovable in case our businesses grow, and how safe is it for users?
Okay, excellent question. So right now, I'd say fantastic for prototyping, for creating MVPs, for really doing doing what it needs to do, right? And that is to do your market and user validation, right? To get feedback. I would not necessarily push the tool all the way to production, right? That's where tomorrow's session will come in really handy. because you'll be creating your pitch decks. So once you've got that validation, and the team will tell you, one thing that an investor will always look for is traction. Have you proven the case? Everyone has ideas, but have you first of all gone to the trouble of testing it? And then next, what kind of feedback are you getting so far? Right? Have you shown it to 5 people? Have you shown it to 15 people? Have you shown it to 50 people? What are their responses? Do you have anyone that's decided to pay for it or asked, can I please get a paid version, for example, right? So I can get these features. So this is the in-between step that really accelerates the validation process significantly. And then you can take that to a potential investor or even to a founder of some sort to build it out as a web app. So my suggestion right now, maybe I'll eat my words in 3 to 6 months, but for now, I would definitely make sure that if I was to go to production, I would have a coder or somebody technically skilled who can do the job to audit the code. That is the one thing I would definitely recommend, because we all are, not all of us have that understanding, and we need to have that confidence that when we do send an app out to production, now you can, right? Then you make sure that it's audited. That would be my recommendation, especially from a security point of view, because Lovable is also still learning. They just turned 1 year old, I think, last month. So they're a new company and they're still learning. But we can still work with them. So for me, this rapid prototyping MVP, absolutely magical for that. So I think that's a good problem to have, is if your business is growing and you're needing to scale, you've crossed the first barrier to success, and that is you're finding you could be on your way to product market fit. And that's an amazing achievement just in and of itself. So it's a good problem to have. Okay. Yeah.
There is another question. Can you, as a back-end focused software engineer, build APIs and use Lovable to create front-end UI using the back-end API documentation you create?
Yes, definitely. And there's a number of different ways to do that. So you can either go directly into, well, you can connect this project directly to GitHub, and you can work with the code directly. What that means is that your front end will be hosted on Lovable. But if you wanted to, you could then take this code because you own it. That's the other thing that's significant for me about Lovable, is all the code that gets generated is yours. You have open access to it. You can port it. So once it's in GitHub, you can then fork that project into a standalone project. So what I've done in the past with an MVP that I was building on React is I was unhappy with the designs. I recreated the design in Lovable, and I literally copied and pasted I didn't copy paste. I sent the HTML and the CSS files to my software engineer, and she was able to implement the entire design in 40 minutes rather than building it from scratch. So it definitely has that level of flexibility. And Charles, yeah, as you go along, you'll see that there are already quite a few APIs into different functionalities, e-commerce, payments, emails. I use Resend for emails, monitoring tools. There's a lot you can still do just from Lovable, but like I said, your project will be hosted on the platform. Okay, so back to what's happening on the left-hand side here, just to show you another functionality. Okay, so I've just asked it to please update the design, and it's given me its thoughts, right? It's checking the different pages, it's reviewed the app, it's done a design analysis, it's created a flow chart for me, and it's also given me an upgrade plan, right? So it's showing me what it wants to change to, in this case, graph morphism and visual effects with specific CSS classes if you want that level of transparency. But ultimately, you're going to read through the suggestions, and then you're going to see if you want to make any changes. And if you don't, you've got an option to implement the plan, right? It's also got some other prompts here to say, all right, rather start with only one thing. Start with only the glass morphism, or start with just the animation for me. Don't do everything, right? So for me, I've got a bit of time. I'm going to say implement the entire plan. And just, yeah, as a reminder, I am on a paid version. So it means that I've got quite a few credits to play with. So I can do this in one day, for example. I'm also happy for, yeah, you guys, I see quite a few of you guys are connecting with me on LinkedIn. I'm also happy to provide my email. Yeah, and if the team, wants to organize for me to jump into an office hours, I'm also happy to do that, to give more specific guidance. I know this is quite a big group, so we can't necessarily get to everyone, but I think it's valuable enough to be able to get you to the next step as well. Okay, I really don't like this design, but it's okay. We'll wait for it to finish. So yeah, guys, so as you're refining now your MVP, you're now experiencing the power of the tool, and figuring out what it is exactly that you want, right? Know that you can not only do your MVP. I know someone mentioned you've done landing pages before. You can do it, you can support your app with a landing page, right? That's the thing that you're also going to send out to new users who don't know you, to explain to them what it is that what you're up to, right? So you can incorporate a landing page into the app, but for me, the power really is that you're going to have a full stack web app that you can implement with a single prompt. Okay, so Paul, the MVP, Lovable currently creates web applications. So it would be a web app. I'm not sure what you mean about the machine, but for the web app, it's full stack. So you're going to have a database, you're going to have API connections, you can have an AI and AI integration. So you've got, like I said, you get quite a lot from the tool, in order to create a fully functional, almost production ready application.
Liesel, Rachel's put in her screenshot of where she was stuck.
Aha, okay, I'm getting there. Oh, wow, I'm looking at all the links coming up. Okay, nice. Okay, there's the screenshot. Okay. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so yeah, Rachel, from what I see here, yeah, you've got the publish button. So, what happens when you click publish is my next question. And you're welcome to open your mic if you'd like.
Oh, Rachel. We need to unmute Rachel. Rachel, can you hear us? Okay, you should be able to unmute now.
Yes, I can hear you. So, I have the button for publish. If I click it, if you check the screenshot that I've shared, it's like if I click publish, they show me that I need to put the domain, and I've put the domain, but below on publish is not working.
Okay, let's just see, because I see you put in your own name. What you can do is just delete what you have there, where it says HHG Rachel. Just remove that for the moment
Okay,
and see if, and then it should give you the publish button back.
let me try. If I try to remove what I've put, is saying that the project name cannot be empty.
It can't be empty. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder. Okay, I'm thinking, this is my thinking voice, my thinking face. Okay, can you edit? Have you tried editing the domain? Can you see what, can you see, if you look at the screen, there's an edit domain option here.
Yes, that's what I was doing. I clicked on edit.
Okay, and then you can make an edit to say edited domain, for example. And then you say save. And then in my case, I've already published, so it'll give me an update button. On your side, it should give you a publish button. And ALX team, what are you thinking of the links that you're seeing so far?
Yeah, good question. I'm going through them at the moment. So guys, it's going to be super important for you to actually have a look at them. I'm on monipalovable.app, and it takes you through a journey, and then it says get started and nothing happens. So guys, it's going to be important for you to make sure that these are usable. Okay. And a lot of you are sharing the preview page. Please rather publish and share the published page. Okay. So some of them are a little bit basic, which means they need a little bit more prompting. Okay. So remember to use ChatGPT or whatever LLM you want to use to support you in the prompting. I know I used what's called the lean canvas model. I put that in ChatGPT, but go with Liesel's suggestions. But you want to make sure that you've got a full kind of clickable scenario so that we don't get stuck in a specific place. Remember, this is going to be one of the things that we look at with regards to choosing people for the incubator. Okay. So the more it works or the better it works and the less we get stuck in certain areas, the better. So please go through it yourself. Don't just publish it and think that that's the end of it. And I think what's going to be important is what to do after this. So I know, Liesel, this isn't the end, right? So I think it's important just to say like, okay, cool, you've done the MVP. Don't just think of it as, okay, I can tick this box off and now it's done. You have things to do after this.
Yes, this is just the start, right? You've basically, you've literally just started. So I think that's important to remember. And what this experience as well, you know, as Nicole just mentioned, what this experience is going to show you is the quality of the prompt as well, right? So if there are features missing that you find very important, then you would go back and say, all right, what information did I miss? As I mentioned here in the framework, is you want to be clear and direct and very specific, right? So another way to go about it, if I was just to go back to the dashboard here. Okay, you could even start by saying, I want an app that does the following. A user must be able to log in, and you can actually do it this way. You can give it a list. They must do 1, log in, or well, create an account, right? And log in for protection of sensitive information. Sorry, I also just wanted to mention here, Liesel, I'm looking at some of them, and for instance, like before you even understand what the product is, there's a login page. So for instance, this Grow Simple plan, so farm plan, it says plan your crops, track your harvest. I'm immediately having to put in my phone number. I haven't got any context of it yet, right? Right. Yes. So very important that you have a landing page, so the initial home page that explains what your product is, as opposed to directing people to log in or to give you information immediately, because that is a turn off. Okay. So that's a barrier to getting people to understand what you do. That's very true. Yes. Okay. So the first thing that you then with your prompt, you want to start with creating a landing page, right? So you must be able to, so the user must be able to view a landing page that describes, and this is where I sometimes default to ChatGPT, because in ChatGPT, you can have a conversation without having to build anything, right? So for example, view a landing page that describes my product according to the lean model canvas that I provided, right? So when you go to, so you can attach it here, but you don't quite know what's going to come out of it, right? Whereas if you interact with ChatGPT, you can say, this is what I want you to do. Sorry, can you tell me what you think I should do, and interact with it and say that's a yes or a no. If you are just wanting to do an MVP, guys, like I kind of bounced on the account thing because I saw it so much, but you can actually say to it, don't create an account, right? Because it's just an MVP. All I want to do is I want to show people features, for example, right? So, and like I said, it's hard for me to give you the exact information because I don't know exactly what you're building. So that's where the office hours are going to be quite valuable, and the follow-up questions that, where we speak to your particular MVP directly. Okay. So, and again, to reiterate, another thing that, Nicole said is you are your first user also, right? Before your app goes anywhere, you need to be able to kind of be a little bit objective and say, is this something that I want to use? Does it make sense? And use the apps that you love as a comparison, right? When I'm thinking about, what I want from an app or a website, I go and think, hey, you know what are my favorite apps on my phone that's useful to me? Not just social media, but stuff that I use, on a regular basis. What do I love about those experiences? What makes me go, wow, every time I use it? And I can tell you one of the best examples for me is Uber. The fact that I can go in to, put in an address and a driver picks up my ride and I can watch them come to my front door is an incredibly good experience. So now I'm unpacking in my mind, why do I love it so much? Is it because it's simple? Is it because it gives me more than I expected? Yes, both of those things are true, right? And then see how that applies to what you're doing. Again, it comes also down to that planning component, right? Where you kind of want to be very clear about what it is that you want. And that's not easy if you haven't done it before. So if it takes a couple of different attempts, that's expected, right? It's we're in experimentation phase for a lot of this experience. So yeah, the more questions, the more like guidance, that's okay, you know. You're going to be able to play around. And not just with this tool, but also asking ChatGPT for help and things like that. So use the different tools you have available to you so that you can get to something that you would be proud to show somebody sitting next to you in a room and say, hey, I built this, please can you test it out and give me your feedback, right?
All right, thank you, Lizzo. I have just a comment to make. So I'm looking at this really beautiful, gorgeous web app from Rise. I think it was Fatuma. Was it Fatuma who did this? I think it is. I think it looks really great. I also love that she was able to make it mobile friendly. So even on mobile, it's going to look great as well. And it has these buttons at the bottom that leads you to the specific features of the web app. Really lovely. It looks like a really complete product. Like she is done. She has the rights. She has where you can report. She has resources. So just a few comments for you, Fatima. The first thing is, what would make a user come back to this website every day, right? So for context, for those who can't see, it's, okay, let me just share the screen. Come and see. Let me share the website rather. So the first thing that I want to ask Fatima is, what would make people want to come back to this website every day? Do I only need this website when I have an issue, when I want to understand my rights regarding something? You need to figure out what can make the users of this app come back every day. What's that sticky feature that ensures that users come back every day? Because out of sight is really out of mind. Even when I need it, I might not remember that I have this tool because I haven't been coming back to it every day. So think about something that would make women want to come back here every day. That's one. Then two, in Nicole's session yesterday, one of the blogs talked about revenue or streams. So how are you making money? That's one thing everybody needs to think about. How are you making money? How are you making money? So depending on the country that you are in, what features are going to be premium? Sorry, what pricing model are you going to use? Are you going to use the freemium? Are you going to use the free trial, right? So if you're using the freemium, what features are going to be paid? Those features that are going to be paid, it's very important that you make them paid from the beginning, right? Make them paid from if the freemium model is what you're looking to use. Then if you're looking to use a free trial, make sure that the trial period has a timeline. And once that timeline elapses, make sure that users are rerouted immediately to pay. This is very important because the longer you wait to monetize, the more difficult it gets to do so. So I want everybody to start thinking about it now. These are conversations that you all can start having in the WhatsApp groups that you've created. Oh, I created this app today. These are the features. What features do you think I should make paid? These are the kind of things I'm thinking. These are conversations you should be having today in your WhatsApp group, because the things I read about last night, the conversations you guys are having the other night, it should never happen again. So now, you have topics to discuss, okay? If you've made friends already, create small WhatsApp groups with them and really have them critique what you've built. Nicole continued mentioning yesterday, do not get married or do not fall in love with your idea. Was that her word? Was that the phrase? Nicole, how did you put it again? Did you say do not get married?
Don't be married to your idea.
Don't
Be
be
married
married to your idea.
Be married to the problem and the customers.
Exactly. If you're married to the problem and the customers, it means that when you see the need to pivot, do a 180-degree pivot, it's not a big deal for you. You're doing it because you're married to the problem and the customer. So I know that it's easy to just fall in love with the beautiful magic you just performed this afternoon. Don't get married to it, eh? Okay? So when you get into those small groups, be very open-minded, allow your peers to really critique what you've built, ask them what features they would be willing to pay for, ask them what features they think would be sticky enough to get them coming back, you know. Look at similar websites from the US, from the UK, from other continents, right? And compare what features they have and start stealing, right? Okay. I didn't say copy, I said steal. They are very different, both are very different. And having said all of that, I think I'll pass the mic back to Leslie.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your input. Absolutely spot on. They say that first-time founders fall in love with the product. Second-time founders fall in love with distribution, right? So it's going to be a case where if you're just starting on your journey, you're going to be in love with your idea and your product is going to represent the idea. But ultimately, this MVP process is for you to be able to put a boat on the water. Once you're there, then you'll be able to find out which direction the wind is blowing, where you want to go, right? It is a means to an end. It is certainly not the end. And I agree that, yeah, try and get your, you can, using this tool, you can add a payment integration from like immediately, right? And it's also geography friendly, so that you'll have a payment provider available to you where you are for the most part, right? If you don't have Stripe or anything like that. So there are some small fundamentals that you do want to get right with this MVP. The landing page, for example, deciding if you need an account sign up or not. If you do, it's, see where you can, I don't want to say cut corners, but see where you can cut corners, right? The job here is to validate the idea, not to necessarily go full, 180 kilometers an hour towards production or full featured production app. You want to start with testing, getting feedback. Am I on the right track? And validation means you're testing your assumptions, right? Because it might feel good inside in your mind and in conversation, but it can feel very different when it's in somebody's hands. And that feedback is critical. So take it all in. It's not personal, right? And it's rather, and that idea of failing fast. I don't believe in breaking things, but failing fast means rather get feedback now that says, hey, you know what? I actually found this other app. I have people right now in the chat saying, guys, rather use this, don't use Lovable. I'm like, cool, right? That's good feedback, right? Now I'd say, okay, Google Studio is better for some users. That's great, right? That's good feedback for me. I know who my audience is a little bit better now, right? And who does love it and who doesn't love it. All of this is just testing. And that's critical for your success, is to keep getting stuff in front of people. Even your landing page, right? I just put something up that I worked on a while ago because this isn't a business that I want to do, but it's a problem I needed to solve, is to declutter my house. I was very tired, so I thought I'd need some help, and I created an app for that. So, there's a lot that you can do once you get super clear, but yeah, putting it in people's hands and getting that feedback and getting that first paying user. That's a really nice North Star for this period that you're in now. Okay, I see there's a couple of hands up. I'm not sure if that's if you guys want to unmute and share your thoughts. Is it Lorna, Tariq, and Emmanuel? I see your hands are up.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you for, everything that you've made us understand today. I really didn't know some of the things that I I heard you mentioning. I was on my way trying to create an MVP for my project, and it's really tough. So I was getting overwhelmed at some point until you started mentioning something about Lovable, and actually it's done already. I'm just waiting to edit a few things through VS Code, and then I'll submit it. So mine is just to give thanks, and you just keep on doing what you guys are doing. Where it's really helping some of us here. Yeah.
That's great feedback. Thanks so much for sharing. And well done on not having to struggle as much anymore, right? Look forward to seeing some success from it, huh? Okay, who else would like to go ahead?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for your guidance and thank you very much for your explanation. It's very great. Thank you very much. My question is Lovable. My MVP is about an AI chatbot. Is Lovable can do it? For instance, can integrate AI chat? And thank you very much.
AI chat. Okay, I'm going to open up a project that that I used for the company I work for. This is the website I mentioned. I used it for lead generation at AI Expo, and now my company's actually copying this for their new website. So what I was able to do, okay, is it was the use case explorer. You see, I've created an AI assistant over here. Now with Lovable Cloud, you can do that without actually needing to import your own API key from one of the model providers. And then you just need to be quite ruthless with it. I'm going to use that word because it can be hard to, well, it can take a little bit of time to get the layout correct. It'll automatically give you an assistant. So you would say, so a prompt would be, for example, under use case library, add a button for an AI assistant. When the user clicks the button, it should open up a chat interface. Start with this copy and give the following recommended actions. Right. So when I say be specific, I really mean be specific. You're going to get a lot more, your results are going to be a lot more to what you expect if you are very specific. So you can think of yourself as a little mini coder, right? Giving requirements to a to a coder or a product owner for that matter, right? So this is what I was able to prompt, and it took a few tries, but now I think it's actually super slick. And I can use the automation here, right? And it'll give me exactly what I need. Right. And I support a product at my company called Smartbox. It's an AI accelerator for enterprise, and this is the tool I'm using to sell it, actually. So you see, and this was all done in Lovable in the period of about a month. So
all of the
sorry.
And all of these are free?
So I'm on the paid plan. So the short answer is no for the token use. So you have it's 5 free credits a day that you get on the free plan. So if I was to be on the free plan, it would just have taken me a bit longer to do it because I would have to wait for the next day's free credits. I built this on the $20 plan, but my goodness, not only did I get a really amazing tool for the expo, but I also got a lot of street cred from my colleagues. So that was worth it for me.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, who else?
Hi.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, my name is Lorna. I'm building
Lorna.
an Uber-like app.
Sorry?
I'm building an Uber-like app. And right now I'm working on the demographics. And like you said, we use different tools for that. So I've tried different tools, but it's still giving me different demographics that I can use to build to focus on when I do my pilot program. So I'm just wondering, how can I sieve through all that information to get the exact demographics that I need?
Okay, so yeah, without the full context, I'm gonna have to answer in a general way, right? So it would be more about the demographics. Is it too general, or is it something that you don't agree with?
No,
What
it's
is
giving. The problem is I'm getting like the demographics. I'm searching which areas I can do my pilot program on, which areas can be able to really use the app on a daily basis to order for ambulances. So the problem is it's giving me different places that I can try my app on, but with the different every tool is giving me a different demographic. So how can I sieve through all those and get the exact area where I
That
can
is
focus on?
actually, yeah, that is hard because, yeah, if you're using different tools and they don't agree with each other, I would try and stick with a tool that generally works the best for you, right? So as I mentioned, I play around with the different models all the time, but I've learned how to use ChatGPT, and it's got memory and it's got all my projects really well. So especially when it comes to business ideas, I will definitely use something like Claude to verify. But ultimately, you don't want to confuse yourself, right? You rather want to get one demographic, one test. You don't want to, your thinking is spot on. You don't want to test everywhere. You want to have a very small, limited pilot, basically, or use, small group of users to start with, so you can be quite close to them, right? That old adage, if you're not speaking to a user every day, you're not building your business, right? So
yes,
a group that you have access to that's willing to share feedback with you, those are also important considerations as to who you choose for your first group.
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. This is Dumiso from South Africa. Yeah. I'd like to just make a congratulatory comment to Mama Africa for producing such mindful individuals, especially from this cohort. I'm saying this because of what I've seen from yourselves as the panel of experts having to demonstrate the aid, and the presentation thereof. And also, I'd like to say big ups to the creators, the founders in our cohorts from yesterday even to today. It's been quite impressive, and I can say we can challenge Silicon Valley very soon.
Wow, that's absolutely. I back every single one of you guys. It's amazing to see such a big group, and I consider you guys innovators. I consider you guys builders of the future, right? We have the chance, honestly, guys, to really determine our future, make a big swing for the fences when it comes to what the future looks like on the continent, what problems we solve, because Silicon Valley is not going to do that.
Yes.
And frankly, Silicon Valley's gone a little bit rogue, I think, in terms of supporting humanity and,
Yes,
and
definitely.
it is up to us. And tools like this excite me so much because it gives the power back in our hands, right?
Yes,
And,
yes.
instead of having to jump through hoops of funding to get engineering to get marketing, etc., you can actually accomplish so much within your business, but using
Yes.
these tools to help you accelerate what it is you're doing, creating marketing content, creating ideas around distribution, right?
Yes.
So please, use the tools. We need to use the tools available to us. But if we do that in a very targeted and a very, like not clinical, but yeah, clinical fashion, we can make significant change in the short term for the
Yes.
outcomes, in our communities, and in our countries and beyond, right? It's literally the time. I do feel like the time is now ours, and I appreciate your comment and your awareness that yeah, we can do a lot. This group here. I mean, how many people are we now? That's 300 people. Imagine 300 businesses coming out of this cohort.
Yes,
That's
we can say
significant.
yes, we're currently having the S&P 500, but we can now say there's a potential of an ALX 500. Who knows?
There we go. Cool. Well,
Sure.
you know what? The only way to get the future you want is to design it, right? To build it.
Yes,
Oh, there
definitely.
you go. ALX people, did you hear that? Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. Go for it. We've still got a bit of time for your feedback, so please share. Okay, I see there's Philip, Manfred, and Olakunle, and Doreen.
Can I start?
Yes, go ahead.
This is
All
Doreen.
right. All right. Thank you very much. This is Philip. I'm calling from Nigeria. I'm connecting from Nigeria. I want to first of all say thank you very much for all the effort that has been put for this thing to come alive. I am discovering a lot of things. I want to say this that encountering ALX has been a very, very major breakthrough in my life completely. And then getting to be exposed to this kind of tools that I have never been able to see before is a great deal of upgrade in my life. I was able to interact with the Lovable platform and I was able to create something. It's just that the buttons that are supposed to redirect people for engagement and interactions are not really working. So I kind of feel maybe there's something that I didn't really do correctly. If you could help me check it, I would be glad. I'll share it.
Yep, you can. Yep, you. So I've given my details to the group. I'm happy to share it again. But there's also going to be office hours where you can get specific feedback on not just your MVP, but also the tool and any challenges that you're having currently. Is this your link here, Philip?
Yeah. Yes. The course pack. Ignites.
It's already exciting, hey?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But wow. My internet is not registering this link. Just hang on, I'll do it another way. Okay, you're saying your buttons are not working. Did you tell Lovable? Philip? Have I lost you? Okay, can anyone hear me?
All right, now I can unmute myself. Yes, I actually gave the Lovable the prompts. I told it several times to check the buttons and make sure they are interactive for the customers, but it wasn't able to do that. I don't know why.
Okay. So what I would suggest that you do is be more specific, right? So this is the chat. So the chat is a language model. So the words you use are very important. So if you say, make it usable for my customers, it doesn't necessarily tell Lovable what it is that you want to do on the website, right? So words like usable is not very specific. So in your case, you can go one of two ways. You can say, make sure that every button is clickable and goes to the correct place. So I would say even things like when a user clicks on book a discovery call, take them to a page where they can book a call. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. It does make sense.
So
Thank you very much.
I mentioned the word ruthless now because it's on my mind, but be ruthlessly specific. Tell it
All right.
exactly what you want it to do. The more vague, the less likely the model is going to know exactly what you want, right? So you can be super, super, super specific. You can even say, I mean, there are times when I'll say this, when I click on book a discovery call, go to this page. And I know what pages have been created. And then I can say, go to this page and go to this part of the page, etc. Right? So you can go very, very, very specific. You are now the master creator, right? Telling the code, basically you're generating code using natural language in the background. So you do kind of have to think about how products work. There is an advantage if you've worked with products before, technically, but the fact that you can put yourself in a position of a user who is building something will be enough, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'll try it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Okay, cool. I'll take one more comment and then I'll just finish up here and then we can go into any further questions. So who is top of the list here? Paul.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I had a question in the chat and maybe you kind of didn't understand it. But before that, I just want to thank you for the nice session. We really learned from since yesterday. So my question is, all these Lovables and other tools, very useful. But I have a question. Let's say you have your own project that is working on something different. In this case, we're talking about something that, maybe converts West. So your MVP, or should I say your prototype, shouldn't be like something like a website. It has to be like a machine, like something that is looking forward to, scale up, to be funded, added, like more inputs added and stuff like that. So I don't know. I might have joined late. I don't know if you had talked about that earlier. And I also wanted to know how can I build an MVP for that certain type of sector. Thank you.
So unfortunately, I'm going to give you the classic IT response, which is all of the answers, a lot of the answers to your questions will be it depends. It really depends on what you're building, who you're building it for, how complex it is, right? Because there are some tools, some apps that will be more complex than others to make it work, right? You need to focus on instead of a feature, you would then focus on a journey. What is the core journey of the application rather than a killer feature, right? But ultimately, if we were going to go through a traditional funding process, you would want to be able to produce something that people can use enough to give you feedback about whether or not they're going to pay for it, whether or not you've found something in the market that the market will want to pay for, will want to use. When you establish some numbers around that, so i.e. your traction numbers, so do you have people on a wait list? Do you have people signed up? Do you have people paying? Right? That's kind of the first barrier you want to clear, right? Right? The first thing you want to jump over, because when you're doing that, you're starting to do what I've got on the screen here, which is establish that you might have product market fit, right? So you're wanting to go from, just to kind of dovetail into this, you have an idea, everyone has ideas, right? The skeptical people in the room will be like, so what? Now you've got an MVP. Now you need to show that people are going to use it and people are going to buy from you, that you've got a business, a potential business here that's at play. I put in here, go to market and distribution. That's important because besides your friends and family, you need a way for people to get to use your application or your service or your product, right? Ultimately, why? Because as you learn, and I didn't put the iteration part in here, but as you learn from those first users, as you get more feedback, you're going to iterate on that product or that service. And that's going to allow you to grow, right? So it's that kind of feedback loop. So you need to be able to say for yourself what the line in the sand is for you. And you do that by, I'm going to quickly skip over this, setting KPIs, right? So knowing what it is that you want to measure to know what success looks like. Okay. When we're saying validation, yes, we're calling it users, number of paying customers. What's the primary KPI, right? For the savings journey, for example, what one I just came up with now, a KPI for the app would be how many people create a savings plan, or how many people actually confirm that they've saved towards something, right? That would be a product KPI. The other KPIs is about, like I said, users and revenue. But the challenge that I want to give to you today is, while you've got your MVP, you know how to use the tool a little bit, some more than others, but you know what the potential is, right? To cross this next bridge. But also keep in mind that your success is a function of measurement. So the questions you want to ask yourself is basically, how do I know that my MVP is successful, right? Because success is also a very broad term. Is it how many people have signed up? Or is it how many people actually did the thing I wanted them to do, right? Because you've also got now a funnel within the app from start to end goal. So you've established in your business plan and your thinking around your business, what problem is being solved? And how valuable is that problem to a user or a customer, so much so that they will pay you and that they will come back again and again and again. Like that's your top prize, right? But you really want to keep in mind what those KPIs are. So even for the next week or so, or after your submission, you might want to say to yourself, how many people am I sending the link to? Let's start right at the top of the customer acquisition funnel, right? How much feedback am I getting? Am I getting positive, negative, or neutral? And how do I action it as my next step, right? So the challenge I would set for you guys, or for myself if I was in your position, is how many signups can I get, if that's my goal, right? So how many people am I showing it to? That keeps me accountable, that I'm not keeping my idea to myself. I'm making sure I'm testing, right? Talking to users, talking to customers, talking to users, talking to customers. And then I can continue on the next part to say, you know what, I thought this would be important, but actually this is important. Let me focus on that for my next iteration, and then do it again. And while I'm doing that, I'm also getting enough numbers and traction to then take to a potential investor, a funder, a partner. There's a lot of partner work going on, guys. So don't think of investment as the only way to go forward, but you could partner with someone in the industry that makes sense to work with you on your business. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So yeah.
I kind of have something like a personal one-on-one or session, because I want to try and avoid further questions so that others get the opportunity to ask. But thank you so much for the feedback. Really helpful.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Okay, I'm just going to go back one slide because I wanted to just also just talk about next steps, right? So you've got you're starting to get to a polish on your MVP. Again, the goal is not the MVP. The goal is to get customer feedback, user feedback, right? So two ways to do that. Just put the app in someone's hands. If it's even on a call or in person, observe how they use it, right? Do they get, because some users get stuck in weird places, guys. It can be quite mind-blowing to see what happens next. And that's why it's so critical, because you don't know what you don't know. And there's only one way to find out, right? So watch people using your MVP. And then once you watch them for a while, only afterwards, then you can start asking them questions, right? What did they like? What didn't they like? Would they use it again? Right? Okay. Because ultimately you need to make sure that all through your journey, this isn't a question that you ask once necessarily. Something you can ask a number of times. What problem am I solving? Because as you start interacting with your users and potential customers, or let's call them customers. Let's say that we've got people paying. Let's put it out there, right? They're going to still give you feedback, and you might find out that the problem you thought you were solving is actually something else. And that's okay. Some of the biggest companies in the world, in fact, a lot of companies that are huge companies, did not start with the business that they have now. And that's okay, right? Because you want to fall in love with, again, to reiterate, you want to fall in love with your customer. So fall in love with the problem you're solving, not your product. Your product is a means to an end. But this gives you a significant push forward to be able to orientate your mind, your thinking, your focus into where it really needs to be. And that is, like I said, your customer, right? So what problem are you solving? Can it be used daily? Can your users live without it? Will people pay you for it? And will they tell their friends? Because that's your flywheel or go to, you know, one of your go-to-market strategies, do people share what they love, right? So you want to kind of also trying to get that right. And it's not something that's necessarily going to happen overnight, but it's better to start imperfectly than wait and be wrong, right? Don't make it perfect, make it usable. Make it clear what it is that what problem you're solving, and get that feedback. And you know what? That's going to be a lifelong mission anyway. You're going to constantly be getting feedback, right? The products that you and I and we use every day, it's not, they don't stop at version 1 or 2. So this is a long-term thing where you're going to have a customer feedback cycle. And as you grow and as you get your traction and you get your starting to scale, you're going to find systems that will get you to do this procedure, but faster and more clinically, right? You're always going to be wanting to get feedback. The companies that don't do that, actually, they die out, right? You
Yes.
know? I mean,
Thank you so
Adobe, yeah, cool. Okay, great. Okay. All right, I think that's it here. So that's it, guys. Set some KPIs, right? Well, complete your MVP so you can get your user feedback and get those users, right? Get that and then iterate. What do you like? What don't you like? Okay, and the team here is more than happy to help you on this, on the journey, unblock you. And like I said, I'm happy to also offer some time to office hours if there are specific challenges within Lovable that you're facing. I'm happy to share that knowledge to make sure that you have as little friction as possible when using the tool and getting to your next steps. Okay, so remember to delight your customers, delight yourself. AI can help you get there, and that speed is the new accelerant. So that's what we're offering here. It's not anything other than being able to get stuff done much faster, so that you can get your business going much, much faster. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left. So if anyone wants to ask a question, please go ahead. I can't see the hands right now, so you're welcome to please jump in.
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Okay. You're gonna have to decide first, sorry.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Derek, and I'm connecting from Ghana. Please, can I be heard?
Yes, sorry, you can go ahead. I can hear you.
Like I said, my name is Derek, and I'm connecting from Ghana. So my question was, so for people who are just coming forward to, we are now trying to start up our business idea. We have the model in place, we have everything in place, and we are trying to get the whole thing kickstarted. Like it's already in the system, and we are trying to kickstart it. I was having a bit of challenge when it came to the, what do you call it, the app, using the Lovable. I created the prompts, I did everything, but when it got to the part where I needed to put in one or two key details, I realized I'm unable to do it because I'm not on the premium. That is more like a suggestion. I was hoping that during this bootcamp period, maybe these apps or these apps and software that we use, maybe probably if we can just get just a limited time, maybe a limited time to experience the full premium version of it, so we know the how to use the entirety of the thing before maybe after the bootcamp we decide to buy the premium version ourselves. We will not have much of a struggle with it.
I hear what you're saying, right? So unfortunately, fortunately, the best way to learn is to do, right? Is to use the tools. But I understand there's a limitation on things like credits. In that case, there's two strategies you can take, and that is to read the documentation on the website, right? It is in the Learn section. So if I take you here, dashboard. So yeah, in the Learn section, there's a bunch of documents that you can, documents and videos, right? That you can kind of read, so you can get a little bit more familiar with the different aspects of the tool. And there is a YouTube channel for Lovable, and yeah, lots of people are building on Lovable, and some people are making money. So, right, you know, just like I said, just the caution I've already given. Yeah, so I'm sorry, that's not necessarily a perfect answer, but yeah, it's the truthful one, that you learn a lot by doing. But if that's a limitation for you, then yeah, you can definitely use the documents and the YouTube videos.
Awesome. I think we'll take just one more question. Lizzie, do you have a preference, or do I just end any of them?
Yep. Well, you want for the last question?
Yeah. I've unmuted Nana Kwesi.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Thank you for the opportunity. I had a question. While I was generating my site with the Lovable, the credits got finished. So I was asking if when the credits are renewed again or when they are replenished tomorrow, the prompting will continue from where it stopped, or I'll have to restart everything again.
You won't have to start again. It'll continue from where you stopped.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you. Because of time, unfortunately, that is all the questions that we're going to take for today's session. I think I want to once again just thank you so much, Leslie, for taking the time to participate in today's session. This has been very insightful. I'm looking at some of the MVPs that the founders have shared in the chat. Really good. A lot of you have outdone yourselves, so thank you so much. I know that some of you until today did not have an MVP, had not done any form of software engineering or coding. But after this session, you now have something that you can potentially show to clients and just get a head start in your entrepreneurship journey. So thank you so much. This was a very, very insightful session. And so again, as mentioned, guys, some of you, again, this was your very first time, and it's okay to be a little jittery. We have recorded the session. It is available on YouTube. Take as much time as you need with the content to be able to fully understand and process it. Again, a lot of founders in the community have done really good MVPs. So feel free to lead each other and get the type of support that you specifically need around this. Again, I think we mentioned this in the first day, but entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. I think I was seeing some of you freak out in the chat. Unfortunately, no, you need to start building your resilience early. So when something doesn't go wrong, just relax on your journey and walk through it. Because I know you already have an MVP, but you're going to be showing it to customers from tomorrow, and they will say, well, I actually do not like how this works. And you have to go back to the drawing board again. So please do not treat this process with finality. This is quite literally just the beginning of everything. So if you were not able to understand anything, if you felt like you were falling behind on your learning journey, go back. We have already compiled a document which has literally everything and most of the questions that you're asking in the chat. So please refer to the document. You will find the link to the WhatsApp group. You will find the link to the YouTube recap for today and tomorrow and yesterday. You're also going to find exact prompt that was shared with you to start the journey. You're going to find the link to the Lovable. So please do not freak out. We are here for you and we want to wish you the best. Again, this is a very large session. That means we are not able to answer each and everyone's questions. But as mentioned, we are going to be available here on Thursday and as well as Friday to support you as you continue to work on your MVPs. So for today's session, again, as mentioned, we typically share a feedback form to allow you start to submit your deliverables. This is just a way for us to keep you accountable, and so that you're holding yourself on a clock, so that by the time you're leaving this session, you're able to share a link to your MVP. But again, the very official graduation form is also on the document, and this is where you will need to share everything. So no pressure to submit today if you were not able to complete the MVP. This graduation form is the official document, and it's the one where submit everything that you have been working on. Again, as mentioned earlier, today was day 2 of the bootcamp. It means that it's the last official day. And so to just sort of recap the journey, here or yesterday, we worked on our ideas, we put them together in a lean canvas model. Today, Leslie has been wonderful and has supported us to bring it up, and we now have an MVP. She has also been very, very clear about what the next steps are. Start talking to your clients, show them your business idea. They will tell you it is not great. Some of you will get really good feedback. Start to work on that, build and iterate. The other questions we are getting are around credits on Lovable. And so, yes, we understand that those are constraints that you are going to face. But I want you to, I think, go back to the North Star and the priority, which is that you have something you can show to a customer and get initial feedback. A lot of the founders we've been working with in the previous years were not able to afford to get a software developer and build a whole fully fledged app. And so don't treat that as a priority right now. So don't tell us about how credits are over, you do not really like how it looks. Have what you have and start getting feedback. When you have already talked to enough people, you have shared your solution to enough customers and users, then you're probably in a position to start getting grants, some initial investment, and then you can use this to build the app. You can use this to pay a developer and put something out there. So again, make sure that you're really clear on your prioritization. The other thing I have said in the chat is that we are very big on co-founder teams. So I know that a lot of you here are solo founders, or at least you had an idea yesterday and today it is an MVP. But as you continue to go along in your entrepreneurship journey, it is expected that you build a team. And as you're building a team, if you're somebody who does not have technical expertise, so this is the point where you find somebody who can develop, or somebody who then becomes a technical to help you improve what you currently have, develop an entire code base, build the back as well as front end. So again, just sort of understand what the milestones are in your entrepreneurial journey and work with that with the resilience that you have. Tomorrow is our very last day. We are going to do a launch workshop. And the idea behind a launch is to support you to put together a pitch deck. And now at the end of tomorrow's session, you'll have a pitch deck that you can share with people, potential investors, potential grant funders, and find a way to continue bringing your ideas to life. So we are absolutely looking forward to seeing you in tomorrow's session, and we trust that it will continue to be as useful. Once again, I am going to reshare the link to the resources in chat. Here you will find everything that you need to leverage in the next couple of days. And with that, I want to once again say, huge thank you to you. We're already getting a ton of feedback from the founders. This has been a super insightful session. Thank you so much for making 3 hours out of your busy day to come here and speak to the founders and guide them on this journey. So yes, and that brings us to the end of today's session. We will, as usual, be sharing a recap on the WhatsApp channel, and you'll also be getting an email tomorrow. We, again, just want to wish everybody the best in their entrepreneurship journey. And with this, we are officially at the end of the session. So goodbye, everybody. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you so much, everyone, and good luck. I'll see you on the ALX 500.
For sure.